The grand final, best of 7, Team Rip against Gavlo's Gremlins, and well, I gotta admit that I am a bit surprised how quickly we ended up here. This is a rematch, obviously. The winner bracket final had the exact same pairing, and Gavlo's Gremlins, they lost, but I mean, it was mega close. Super close. They dropped into the losers bracket and are now back to get revenge against Team Rip. But I really thought that in the losers bracket in particular, we would have a much closer fight for who makes it to the grand final. Gremlins went up against the Raccoons there, and the Gremlins just crushed them. It was really surprising, so I did not expect that at all. Maybe the Gremlins with a bit of an off day, or we have... maybe the Raccoons with an off day, or the Gremlins just absolutely on fire today. We're gonna find out here, I suppose. But I am extremely curious how this series now goes, because up to now, the Gremlins have done such an amazing job and shown such great gameplay that I can't wait to see what they can do against Team Rip. Now, Battlefield of Eternity is our first map, as I already said. This is a best of 7 series. We have 1,500 euros on the line for the tournament, so we'll find out which team is able to crown themselves the champion of the first season of the Eternal Conflict. Hanzo gets picked first, locked in right away. That ETC ban, by the way, that we have for the red team, get used to that. Crankle has been showing a lot of ETC plays, and especially on maps where ETC is traditionally strong, will most likely get additional bans on him. So most of the teams have by now decided that they are just having a few heroes on the other side that they just don't want to go up against. So Crankle deviates away, goes into Garrosh. We get Anduin picked very quickly, with now Muradin coming through for the red team, and we get Tyrande. Okay, so already we're looking at a pretty solid one here. We get Muradin, Tyrande, and that is once again the stun comp, and of course on Battlefield of Eternity you have the Hunter's Mark that gets applied to the Immortal too, and it helps you to burn this down a bit faster. Noteworthy probably also that when we are talking bans, we have now Blaze banned out. It's mostly interesting in the context of the previous series, the losers bracket final, because we had Blaze played 3 times in a row by the Gremlins, and at no point did the Raccoons say, okay, we're gonna ban Blaze now out against them. They always were like, okay, we can deal with this. Short answer is they couldn't deal with it. Now we have also a targeted ban against the side lane, getting rid of Chen. But very clearly looking at Serath here and trying, alright, what can we eliminate in this one? So, yeah. Final ban for map number 1. And we're getting Tracer. Okay, so Brexit has hit hard. Tracer didn't get a passport, couldn't travel to the Nexus. Wasn't able to attend here. It's a sad story, but, well, what can you do? Maybe she can travel back with the boat. Usually they let those guys in, so there's that. Gets still the double pick for the blue team. And yeah, I'm kind of curious. I want to see what they're following Garrosh's flip up with. If we're getting some... what's the damage going to be like? Hanzo's already taken. You could go Li Ming, obviously. We still need some extra... Oh, Vala. Okay, I like the Vala choice. Vala's a little bit underplayed right now. I want to see him often. We had a time where Vala was played like every single game. Auto attack, non-stop. Now likely an arrow build on Battlefield of Eternity. So I suppose that's what we're going to get here. But, yeah. A couple of nice stacks for Dino would be great. If Garrosh gets a good throw-off, then Vala can normally get 2 stacks easily after she hits level 4. Medivh! That's where things get interesting. Medivh and Dehaka. So now we have Medivh for stacks. Quick portal aggression. Can get Muradin and Tyrande through that. Hit those stuns. Also, of course, escape. Rotate between the lane and the objective very easily. And yeah, maybe just collapse onto Vala if she decides to go an auto attack build, which is possible, but I would assume arrows. We could get some of her gambit stacks removed, so I like it. Medivh is always a huge game changer whenever he gets picked. And we have Thrall for the triple front line on the side of Team Rip as our final pick. Ladies and gentlemen, the grand final, best of 7 series, map number 1, Battlefield of Eternity. The blue team in game number 1 starts over on the left side as usual. We have for Team Rip Vasilisco on Anduin, Crankle with Garrosh and the unrivaled strength. We get Sven on Urel, Cesarbos on Thrall, and Dino coming in with Vala and the puncturing arrow on level 1. So it's all about the immortal damage and the level 7 talent that we're going to get. On the right side of the map, simply with Muradin, Banana H on Tyrande, Gavlo with Medivh. We have Serath on Dehaka, and Nano is playing Hanzo. He's going to be the main source of immortal damage. So on one end we have Vala, and it's all going to depend on how many stacks Vala is going to get on level 1. So we'll see how much he can stack this. I mean, after you get your repeating arrow on level 4, if you are diligent about that, you should be able to work that in nicely. But we also have another awesome pick. We get Crash Lightning. So, Crash Lightning is in with the triple front line. Thrall finds himself at the bot lane and not at the top. So it's all about racking the damage up here, and if he completes that, you can just poke people into oblivion with all of that extra damage that you get through the specific targeting that we're having. So this is actually a pretty cool one. We don't get it too often. Most of the time it's the Trolling Thunder, but in this case they are going for full purple, and it's party time. Stacks, stacks, stacks. Thrall, Vala and Medivh are stacking the most here. They're even having, of course, a few for Tyrande and also for Hanzo. Blue team seems like they're going to walk away with the camp at the bottom of the map. The initial aggression attempt by the Gremlins already shut down. They were not afraid of anything here, nor should they be. 4 stacks for Thrall, so yeah, he's ranking the damage numbers up slowly and steadily as we have Vala hoping for targets. The red team is currently trying to not present too many. They're splitting also a little bit to ensure that Thrall has a harder time completing his level 1 quest, because once that's done, that's just too much. Nice attack against Medivh. Gavlo, he gets out. Gavlo is able to walk away. Good for him. Had only 9 stacks on his baseline quest, but that's obviously something that you don't want to lose. You want to complete that as quickly as you can. Oh ho 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 ho! The save! Nice! And now Serath is in trouble. Gets the portal. There's the block, and that's first blood. Great job by Team Rip. I love it. Crankle with a fantastic save as Thrall became the target. Showed a little bit of Orc solidarity right there. And then they are able to take down Dehaka. So, turn it around. We have now 7 stacks for Thrall and 4 for Vala. Again, once we're having the battle over the Immortal breaking out, this is of course going to become an even bigger thing. And it should get interesting. I mean, already we're having, of course, everybody preparing for the first objective. This is going to be announced right now. We have level 4, also another quest for Thrall, trying to get the Frostwolf pack delivered. Indomitable for Garrosh, and then we get Thunderburn for Muradin. So, objective number 1 is teed up. Let's see who's going to grab it. Who's going to take the lead in game number 1. It is a pretty long series if we get all of our games in. But Team Rip off to a good start, I gotta say. It's always a little bit of a weird one when you're in the winner bracket final. Oh, sorry, when you're in the grand final, because essentially your opponent can warm up. Typically, that's not really a problem, and it's more of a fatigue question, especially if your opponent plays a full best of 5 and has to go to the final map. But for the Gremlins, it was just a fantastic series where they eliminated the Raccoons with a 3-0. And it was very clean games on top of that as well. So they are more so in the flow, at least you would assume so. But now more heroes are getting taken down here. The objective is looking great for Team Rip now that they have the numbers advantage. They lost initially against Hanzo's damage and Tyrande's Hunter's Mark, but now Dainu can work some attacks in, does not have access to level 7 and Monster Hunter of course, so that shuts the damage output down at least a bit. Nice move! Oh, 5 hit points on Crankle and he gets out of the fight. Not even close. Damn, what an escape. And now a mad battle for objective number 1. The red team takes it, but it's mega clutch. And check Garrosh out here. Have a look at this. First Anduin with a save, gets the pull out, and then bam, the owl connects, and what was that? 2 hit points? 3 hit points? So Garrosh surviving, big plays made. Team Rip able to still keep the record stellar with 0 deaths, and of course now the Immortal defense should be fairly straightforward. They're trying again for Medivh, and Gavlo has to really be cautious. He's at 24 stacks by now, and they want him. They want him badly. Vala with a level 7 has now more of a chance to take the Immortal down too. We have a couple of extra stacks also for Thrall himself. But all eyes on Medivh at this point in time, because it's all about him either completing or losing this. Yeah, gets pushed around again. Yeah, they want the hits, but look at Muradin. Mega low, but makes it out. Dehaka goes for the lick. Can't connect it. Next attack coming. This time they're targeting Urel. And the Space Goat is gone. Easy. Come in, take the target down. Well done. But we also are getting more and more stacks for Vala, and that's obviously very important in context of the next game coming up. So Vala getting her level 1 stacked properly is important so that she can burn the Immortal down quickly. With Thrall, we are sitting at 15 stacks, which is not too bad either. On level 4, 3, so it's not done yet, but is on his way. And Medivh is 5 stacks short of completing the quest. So, yeah, turns around, gets another quick double. Murden was shielding the play, and now they're starting to move back out here. Portals are up, but Murden gets locked down and killed. Medivh was dangerously close to getting targeted too. He wanted to buy some time for the capture at the bottom of the map. That didn't happen, so the blue team moved in and stole it. Hanzo did all the work, and then it was taken away from him. Nice push in the middle now set up, and to be also completely transparent here, the blue team has taken Elite and Experience. So this just adds to everything else that we've seen so far. So they are now on level 9 with roughly half a level lead in total. We have at the top also another camp about to be taken. Dino just double checking the bush, making sure that nobody is interfering with the capture. They can go for the objective after that. Medivh is essentially done with this quest. He is currently at 39 stacks. I'm still a fan of Tyranda's Owl being able to connect with Medivh's Raven. That would be an amazing little feature in the game. Owl Tyranda as a counter to Medivh, and just every time that he's in Raven form, hit him. Ah, quest complete! Time to feed. Nearly dying here. Talking about completed quests, not only Medivh that completes this quest, but also Thrall. So he has now a bit more of mana control and cooldown reduction here on his talents. 18 stacks, by the way, for Thrall, which also gives him a decent damage output. He's sitting at 20,000, essentially on par with Vala herself, who is working more and more stacks in. Level 10 is ready. That's that little advantage I talked about earlier for the blue team, and they are using it. Time to catch up for the Gremlins, but they should lose the halftime show here, and are about to. Nice damage, of course, from Vala in particular, who now has all the tools that she needs in order to make this happen. And, well, I gotta admit that Thrall is a bit farther ahead with his quests than I expected him to. We might actually see him complete this in a reasonable time frame and get good use out of it. Great attack, though, against Garrosh and Krankle. This time he doesn't make it out of the fight. He dies. Hanzo with the arrow, and Anduin is dead too. And that's the end of Thrall. Damn. They're going for the triple kill. The Gremlins, ladies and gentlemen, coming back into this with a bang. Losing initially ground on Immortal number 2, but then Garrosh and Anduin are both eliminated, and they follow it up with a third kill against Thrall. So it's a War Chief slaughter that we're getting over here. 4 kills to 3 now. And while the blue team is still trying to get the objective, Hanzo is getting closer and closer to lock it in for the Gremlins once again. Blue team, oh, can they maybe take the Harkat down here? And the answer is nah. Nah, does not look like it. Sarath is about to go out, Muradin is there, objective is claimed. This time the shield is a little bit bigger, but still not impressive. Arrow from Hanzo, not available, so he can't use it just yet, but in 17 seconds they have another shot at utilizing him for more CC during these fights as well. So this time it's the top lane that is going to get attacked and potentially exposed. Gremlins on the move. All the while trying, of course, to take the first big structure out. 21 stacks for Thrall. Thrall is getting there. I mean, really, if he completes it, he can poke so well. Nice pull from Anduin. That would have been really dangerous for Thrall. Could have led to another kill against him. But that was important. It's kind of funny to see the battle between Dino and Thrall regarding their stacks. Red team has now pulled ahead slightly. But, yeah, down at the bottom of the map, we still have the next camp about to be taken. Raw damage numbers now, 30,000 for Vala. Thrall is still slightly behind. But we have also 30k for Hanzo, who's the top damage dealer for the red team. And again, these neat little pushers. I like stuff like this. Now that you have the Inspire mechanic on your minion wave, if you attack structures, you can just in a situation like this move in, get a couple of connects on structures with your auto attack, and then inspire the minions further, get the 35% attack speed and movement speed. and try and get some additional damage in. If you just maintain that play over a long period of time and are diligent about it, you will work those structures down eventually. And if your opponent doesn't go for an immediate reaction, then there's always a chance that you get in one fell swoop a wall destroyed or maybe even damage on the fort. So it's exactly what we want to see here. And they are trying to execute it now at the bottom of the map too. Gavlo, he is providing vision the entire time, but with the camp focus topside, that means that the Gremlins weren't in position for it. Next objective is coming up. Both teams on level 13 talents when it's popping. And yeah, it's party time again. Owl after owl is coming in, smooching with Vala this time. It's all about providing vision. So they got Tyrande and they got Medivh that can both provide them some extra vision here. Thrall actually deciding that he wants to go into the Spirit Shield for the extra defense. And again, the opportunity for Vala to get either stacks or go for the Immortal. Thrall the same, gets a few more stacks for himself. Might even be able to complete his quest during this phase. If not this, then maybe the next one. And once that he has completed it, he can attack anything and the bounce will always then prioritize heroes over anything else. Which is an amazing damage boost. Especially if your opponent is hiding behind structures. So they go for Muradin. Need a little damage. Portal is out. Muradin has to retreat. Only a bit of immortal damage done so far. Thrall was trying to move back in. And it's always Vala that is hoping to get close enough to unleash a quick combo. Leyline out. Okay, that Leyline didn't do anything. Nice arrow though. But Krankle with a big save. Anduin is still alive. Thanks to Garrosh. Euryalus jumping in. Attempts to push Muradin around, but they had to give up position at the Immortal, which means that Nano is instantly there and wins the halftime show for the team together with Tyrande and her Undersmark. So super sweet play from the Gremlins. You gotta be careful here though. Arrow after arrow from Vala, Rain of Vengeance. Everybody clustering up here. They need that AoE. Hanzo dead. The rest escapes through the portal. 5 versus 4 now in favor of Team Rip. And it is the blue team that jumps instantly onto the Immortal and is trying to race it. The opponent with the counter play up here, but it is Hanzo that died, so they lost most of their Immortal damage in that last fight as he was taken down. 4 kills to 4, super close first game, exactly what we want to see. And it's Immortal time for Team Rip. It took them 3 Immortals, but 3rd time's the charm. And now they can try at the top lane to break through that, take the first fort out. Damage at the bottom of the map as well. Sven should auto-attack here a little bit. Going for the minion wave is great, but he should also have proc the Inspire buff. That would have helped for sure. We have topside, the aggression, focusing straight onto the structure as the wall is already out. Sven is coming in too. Dehaka not here just yet, but can of course global up. Sundering! And Thrall is missing most of the hits here. But they're zoning them away from the fort, which was of course the main idea. And they are able to get themselves the first structure taken out. Dehaka never even moved towards the top. So he takes another minion wave out here. And is then moving back out since he realizes that a rotation is headed his way. Euryalus trying to interrupt and will be able to... Nah, but they realize that he won't be able to stop him. Yeah. Easy for Sadath. Moves back out to top off his HP. And then move towards the top lane and still has his global active if he needs it to. And move down to the bottom of the map. Quick reminder for people that don't know it, but the Dehaka was actually changed quite a bit in the last patch. His Brush Stalker has now a 4-minute cooldown, so sits at 240 seconds. But you can reduce the cooldown by 40 seconds whenever you pick up a health globe. So if you're doing a good job on the side lane, maybe take a Mercenary Camp too, you can quickly reduce it. Light Bomb! Nice! And Hanzo's dead again. Yeah, they target Hanzo down pretty quickly. We have Vala also committing more to the build with Seething Hatred. And she is seething alright. Getting hit after hit in with 35 stacks now accumulated. Thrall is sitting at 25, but he's not being able to surpass Vala just yet. He is at 47,000 damage though. And with them getting the kill against Hanzo and pushing the opponent back, they can take another fort down. So that's both of the forts of the red team destroyed. And the next camp about to be claimed. So, nicely done. Great job. 47,000 damage for Hanzo as well. When you look at the general experience numbers, passive XP is of course now ticking in favor of the blue team thanks to the forts that they have taken out. Hero experience, slight advantage for the red team as well. All in all, the two teams are more or less even. It's a tiny advantage that the blue team is still running, but nothing really noteworthy. Very unlikely to result in an advantage here. Especially not for the next objective. Vala's numbers, on the other hand, that can definitely make a difference. I mean, look how quickly she's able to take the Immortal down a notch. On the other side, it's Hunter's Mark and Hanzo that are doing most of the work. But this time the fight is a lot closer than it was previously. And it's actually the blue team that is a bit ahead. By 2,000 points if we're talking about it. So, it's not bad. Vala is really showing how much damage she's able to dish out. And once that she has Acrobat, which I would expect as a level 20 talent, this is going to be absolutely nuts. Dino moves in, gets a quick connect, works the Immortal down a little bit further, and the red team needs to keep an eye on her. If they don't keep an eye on Vala, she is going to take this down easily. There's a few more opportunities for also Stacks. Hits against Muradin, connects another one. 1, 2, nice. Well done. Thrall also working, of course, still on his level 1, and he hasn't really gotten any closer since we last talked about it. 25 stacks for him currently. As Vala is still getting more and more. Works one in against Medivh. Nice. Leyline only connecting with one. Crankle, not impressed, not a problem for him. Here comes the attack. Hanzo! The light bomb again, and Hanzo gets killed. They target him. Weak link detected is essentially what the red team, or what the blue team is saying. The red team has to deal with that. Hanzo now died for the 3rd time, and he just gets farmed lately. So they break through the defense again. Team Rip on their way towards the Immortal, and they take it. This is a decent shield here. 40% shield for him now. And that should help them to maybe even take the keep at the bottom of the map. Maybe it's a little bit too much to ask for the keep itself, but they're going to get some damage on it. So, for the Gremlins, bit of a setback. It's the 2nd one in a row now that they have lost. So, if we're looking at the dynamic of the game, it has for sure changed in favor of Team Rip. They're doing better now. And Thrall is getting closer and closer to his quest completion. And for every single push that they're executing, this is going to help him even further. So, there's another flip on Muradin. The portal. And even the arrow of Hanzo had to be used to save Muradin here. Light bomb. That didn't do anything for them this time. The Haka is still at the top pushing, so they're utilizing the global as best as they can. The Haka can take the topside fort out. It's all about what's happening down at the bottom of the map. Medivh is in problem, gets the shield. Leyline again. The Haka still pushing the topside. Hasn't helped out the team just yet. It's just using his PhD in PvE to take a couple of minions out and aim for structures. Muradin might be in trouble here. The keep certainly is. Keep destroyed. And the Haka, I mean, he needs to go back at some point. This fort is gonna fall. But, yeah, doesn't care whatsoever. And as it turns out, the blue team is also not interested to try and push for the core itself. Nope. They're still totally fine here. They just said, okay, keep is enough for now. Let's leave it at that. Still no completed quest for Thrall. There it is. 18 minutes in and Thrall is done. Great. Now, thanks to the Diaga push at the top lane, Gremlins are nearly on the same experience numbers that we're seeing for Team Rip. Basically on the same level. So that's the good news. Gambled maybe there a little bit. If heroes would have fallen down at the bottom of the map, this could have been problematic. But here comes the next fight. Light bomb. Oh boy, this hurts. Oh my god. Hanzo is dead again. Now here comes the Sundering. They're all in the corner. And the Leyline. Oh my god, that Leyline just saved them. Holy hell. That Leyline was massive. This could have been the end of 2 or 3 more players. Yeah, look at this again. Sundering comes out. They're all in the corner here. And then Medivh pulls the one play off that saves the day. They were all so low. This could have eliminated the game, the team, and lost them the game. That was just clutch. Absolutely clutch from Khaldor. Fantastic Medivh play. But now we have level 20 and we instantly have Acrobat. And now it gets spicy. With Acrobat in play, Vala is going to murder. World Breaker for Thrall. That's the next event. Alpha Wolf, by the way, on level 16. He could have gone into, of course, his Lightning even more. Spec into this a bit harder. I'm trying to go for the Haka, and, well, I see dead people. Sedas is not gonna make it. I am sorry. Oh, well, with the Portal of Medivh, maybe? Nah, not even with that. Yeah, gets thrown around a little bit. They still have to save the rest of the team, and they did, but now it's an even bigger disaster for the Gremlins. I mean, let's face it. Now it's a 5 versus 4, and the objective is up. And just look at Vala, just like one arrow after another, and she single-handedly put it down by 25%. Super short time frame. Can now go into the fights again, and drops with the help of Thrall Medivh. Medivh down, and we can say bye-bye to Muradin, I suppose. Gets locked down too. Vala, one arrow, another. And Muradin is actually able to get away from this. Respect. Now, there's also a fort, a keep at the top lane that is starting to have some trouble, so they have to deal with this. But they also... there's too many things happening. They want to save the top lane, they want to deal with the Immortal somehow. They would love to try and kill somebody here. None of that is working out. Thrall has by now easily claimed top damage in the game, by the way. So once he completed his level 20 talent, his numbers just skyrocketed here. Way easier for him to hit heroes because of the target priority change. You target anything in range, even if it's a wall, and people behind it hiding will automatically be attacked, and then it's just a poke game. You're putting more pressure on the opponent's healer, and it's working gloriously for them. So now it's a push towards the top. Full shield. One keep is already gone. And this is going to be the battle for keep number 2 and for game, obviously. So the Gremlins, they... What? Yeah, they need to pray for, I don't know, maybe a blackout. If Team Rip disconnects collectively all of a sudden, if they all blue screen, then maybe there's a chance, but even that is doubtful. Muradin is eating damage, but is able to get out. And what do you know? They get a kill on Garrosh. Garrosh is gone. Medivh might be able to survive here. Maybe this isn't over yet. Gavlo is alive. Vala is working the numbers right now. Hit after hit after hit. Trying to keep up with the damage output that we're seeing from Thrall. But the keep is gone, and now it's all about the core. And even in a 4 versus 5, Team Rip might be able to pull that off. The core is taking damage here. And they're starting to go for it. Ural is on it. Sven is making the moves. They're also going for Muradin again. The core is falling. It's falling quickly. And that's game. The lead in this best of 7 grand final at the Eternal Conflict goes to the blue team. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Map number 2, Sky Temple, Team Rip against the Gremlins, and so far, blue team is looking good. Best of 7 series, so this could take a while. We are in a situation where I'd say we've seen on map number 1 already that the two teams are essentially on eye level. As expected. I mean, they played in the winner bracket final and it went down to the last map. I wouldn't mind to see that today here in the grand final. We had a fun little exchange also on the live chat, just to catch everybody on YouTube up on this, but we've been talking again about toxicity in games just in general, and how in games like Heroes you can essentially just mute everybody, and this is how you should approach things, because toxicity can't be solved. And in the context we also talked a bit about how you can't even talk to the opponent's team in Heroes, which I personally don't like. It was always nice to have like trash talk with the other, with your opponents. I understand why they removed that in Heroes, but I still grew up with games where all of this was open, where this was allowed, there wasn't a problem. So I'm just used to the trash talk, and it is kind of funny. It added a certain way of spice to it, so I actually like it. I'm in the corner that I would love that with more games again. And if not, if you shut that down, then at least I want some funny emotes or sprays in the context of Heroes that I can use. If you give me a middle finger as a spray, I would drop money on that immediately. And I think that could have financed HGC. If you can't talk to your opponent and the only thing you can do is spray on the ground, give me a middle finger spray and I swear they would have financed HGC on the sales of that alone. Easy. That would have been the most bought spray or emote for sure. So yeah, it's a shame that they don't have that. It would have also be just like top tier trolling. Would have loved that, but yeah, kind of unfortunate. So many good ideas here, and they never took advantage of it. Well, ETC gets banned again. Told you in game number 1 in the draft that this would very likely happen throughout the series. We have Tyrael as a first pick for the Gremlins, with Rhaegar and Cassia as the counter picks on the blue team side. Still a ban on Blaze, by the way, so Blaze gets still targeted, which I honestly like. The one thing that I am a little bit curious about is if later down the road we might even see Azmodan. Team Rip played Azmodan. They played a couple of really crazy heroes with Cesarbos running most of them. And Azmodan has actually a 100% win rate in this tournament. He was picked 6 times and every single Azmodan game was a win. So I'm not saying this is the champion to take, he's OP. But it clearly shows that in certain situations he's working. So curious what they can do in that context. With him, potentially. They played him before, could play him again here. Varian gets eliminated. I mean, you Chromie on the other side. Varian plus Tyrael. That would be a bit nasty. But we've seen this actually a few times right now, that Tyrael is then played as the side laner. There's the Probius ban. If you are confused by this, again, you should watch the other playoff matches as well. But the reason why Probius is banned is because Team Rip has been playing a Probius strategy for some time now. And there are several teams that religiously ban Probius against them. They've gotten Probius, I think, twice. They were able to win one of those games. They lost another one. So it's a bit of a hero miss thing right now. But they played it enough in scrims and with enough success that there are quite a few teams that are at least aware of it and a bit worried about the potential impact. So right now, Probius gets the ban hammer and they have to fall back on something else. With Dehaka and Jojo now taken, there's also a solid front line, and we have both teams with globals. Dehaka worth a bit more here than Brightwing, of course. Way more ability to push the lanes out. But for Sky Temple, we get Hogger, and we get the Vikings. Nice! Vikings on Sky. Oh, glorious. Love it. So, finally, we had so many Viking bans, and now we're getting them in game number 2 already. Ah, fantastic. This is making me happy. There's way too many Viking bans, Cho'Gall bans, all the fun heroes that you would like to see, especially in the context of the new patch, are all of a sudden gone. And there are, of course, some maps where they are more likely to be picked than others, Towers of Doom being one example. But now we get it, and here's my Azmodan pick. Love it! Just talked about him a second ago, and now we get Azmodan against the Vikings. Guys, this is going to be a blast. Asmo plus Jojo, so they have even a fantastic stacking combo in the early game. That's going to be a highlight. Map number 2, Sky Temple. Let's go. It is Asmo time. Azmodan and the Vikings make their appearance here as we are going into game number 2 of the best of 7. The grand final continues with Team Rip playing Vasilisco on Rhaegar. We get Jojo playing played by Crankle, Dino and Cassia, Sven on Dehaka, and Cesarbos on Azmodan. On the right side, Nano on Chromie. We get Gavlo on Hogger, Banana H with Brightwing, Sadath on the Vikings, and Simply is playing Tyrael. So as per usual agreement, the idea is always with Azmodan until he has his level 7 talent to try and help him to stack. So you want a hero that has an AoE damage. Dehaka would fit that bill here. Could use Cassia, I guess, but Jojo, Dehaka are probably better. And then take those minion waves out, rotate with him a bit, and try and get him stacked early so that he has impact faster. Tyrael can screw with this a bit, by the way, by employing the shield. But here you can already see the play. This is exactly how you do it. 18 stacks with the first wave. Moves down with Johanna. This is the old school combo when that first emerged. And now they're going to do the same play here. Jojo comes in. Azmodan gets the hit. There weren't that many minions around, but they get another 8 stacks, so that's already looking great. If you continue that until Azmodan has level 7, he will have a lot of stacks. He will hit his level 1 quest much faster, he will hit his baseline quest much faster, and he also will have an impact in the game much faster than if you just let him do his thing on his own. Once he has level 7, he can do all of that stuff by himself, but this is exactly what I would expect now from Team Rip. And they're doing it well. So it's not really about fighting the heroes, it's really just about stacking Azmodan and controlling the wave. And that's what they're doing. Tyrael, as I said before, could screw with this a little bit by simply coming in and using his shield on the minions whenever they are trying to eliminate them. But that hasn't really happened yet. Siege Giants are now claimed as well. We have all the way up at the top Sven rotating in and out and trying to stop that minion wave, of course. Asmodan with a few more stacks likely now at the bottom of the map. Another hit, and boom! They're taking it all, and he's at 56 already. Easy! Easy damage and easy stacks for Cesarbos. Now the Vikings on the other side started things off with Olaf the Stout, and that should also give a lot of control, especially once we have the temples up. But that top lane pressure, for example, is something that needs to be dealt with. The Gremlins with lots of aggression right from the get-go. Lots of targets too now for Cassia, who is hitting 10 stacks easy. And this is exactly the one thing that this push is good for, from the perspective of the blue team, that they can at least get stacks for Cassia, and they do. But the wall is gone, and every single structure you can eliminate on a map like Sky Temple is a huge win. Killing heroes is a bonus, but Sven survives. But that's mad damage at the top lane. I mean, it really is. This is huge for the Gremlins. This is really big for them. The temples are just now activating, and they are already losing ground on that fort. We are 2.5 minutes in, the wall is gone, and the fort is at 50% of its HP. That is crazy. Asmodan is, by the way, stacking at the bottom of the map. Chromie gets now destroyed at the top, so at least the red team has to pay a price. But good damage from Asmodan down at the bottom of the map. Sadath is rushing around here. But with the auto attacks that are coming from Asmodan, the Inspire buff gets activated on the ranged minions, and that is more damage on the fort as well. So Asmodan is playing this very, very smart. Is getting more stacks, but a bit slower since he has no support here. Once we have level 7, though, he will be able to laser the wave, and then the stacks will come a lot faster. The red team is still ahead on structures, but this is making a difference. And once again, there's only the Vikings here. So it's just Vikings that get destroyed, and we have over and over again minion waves being pushed in, Inspire buff gets targeted, and that helps to get this fort now nearly down to 50% of its HP. Thanks to the temples taken by the Gremlins, they have eliminated the first fort on the blue team side. Shots are still being fired from both, and Hogga gets also murdered. 2 kills to 0 now for Team Rip. So they might be a bit behind in structures, mainly because of the fort dropped at the top. But they have done a solid amount of damage to the mid lane fort and the one at the bottom of the map. And Asmodan is already at 88 stacks. Cassia is at 23. Considering this is the first objective, this isn't bad, guys. This is a decent start into a game where they're clearly depending on scaling. So the Gremlins should be a little bit worried about that. Not that they're doing badly, but they're a little bit behind in experience right now, and I think that eventually they're also going to take the backseat in structures, especially if you look towards the middle of the map, where the fort is basically destroyed too. That bot lane is a completely different story. So, yeah, structurally, it's actually Team Rip that is starting to pull ahead, despite everything that happened at that top lane. That fort is gone. A little hit, trying to go for a 3-pointer against Eric, which he didn't connect. But that's looking good. And it's not the only one that's looking good here. We have, for example, good damage again from Cassia too, 24 stacks. It's not insane, but that's decent. And Asmodan is 128 stacks. Yeah, he has his trade, which is super important. That's a big deal, obviously, to push side lanes. And on top of that, you have just the general control with the AoE damage that she brings to the table. And Asmodan has, as I said before, been played 6 times in this tournament and has won all 6 games. Not a hero that you see played all the time, but a hero that when he gets played in the right composition, on the right map, is having a big impact. Team Rip has been utilizing him several times with Cesarbos, and they're doing it here once more. Level 10 abilities are now ready. Should give us a demonic invasion again for Asmodan. We haven't seen Blackpool in a long time here. Would love, by the way, to see with the context of the new patch Blackpool being picked too, but it's a bit unlikely that we're going to get that here. So, as expected, it is demonic invasion that we're getting from Asmodan. Getting the extra pressure in on structures is incredibly powerful. So, this is something that helps a lot if you're just trying to annihilate a fort or a keep quickly. Tyrael with Judgment. Boss is also up on the map, so can be used too. And we have the temple at the bottom of the map. If claimed by the blue team, they will destroy the bottom fort. The Haka is still at the top. It's obviously the big global tool that they have here. Brightwing, our fruit fly, dancing out in the middle. We have Crankle still vying for position here, but they haven't pushed into this yet. It's just Asmodan is pushing a bit in the middle and then rotates towards the top to help out Dehaka. And this is a dangerous one. There's a double camp here already, which means massive Inspire push with those minions. Dehaka goes down to the bottom of the map. And now we have Asmodan pushing this one solo. And he can do tons of damage here. Hasn't used his ult yet. Could save it to go for the keep wall. There's still a few shots at the temple at the bot lane. But this is weird because for the Gremlins this is awkward. They need something. They're getting the Vikings all down to the bottom of the map because they want to dominate at least this fight. They are realizing they won't be able to do too much against Asmodan top. So the fort gets destroyed. The blue team, yeah, they're going to get assistance soon from Asmodan. But they are already winning this battle. Chromie goes down. It's hard to tell if she dies or not because she's basically the same size as the Vikings, so that makes it a little bit harder to decipher at times, but it was indeed her. Tyrael is also dead, and, well, with that they can now get Asmodan on the job and drop the quick demonic invasion, which is exactly what we're getting here. 186 stacks for him now, and, well, that's another fort gone. So that's all of the forts on the red side destroyed. Blue team still holds on to 1. Damage output from Asmodan is at, well, just 11,000 hero damage, not the focus for him, but 83,000 siege damage. So our boy is doing work here. We'll focus on the hero damage later on, but for now it's all about macro control for him. Yeah. Hogger's still poking around a bit. Cassie has the top damage for the blue team, whereas Tyrael is still top damage on the other side. Even ahead of Chromie, interestingly enough, who died twice so far. 5 kills to 0. Not a single kill for the Gremlins. I don't think they're gonna go up for a cheeky boss here, but Asmodan at the bottom of the map has now completed his level 1 quest. So that's already a nice step into the right direction. We have him in addition with this also with a Vanguard. Let's that slow in. Olaf. Yeah, and there's another minion wave. Look. Gets the hit on Olaf to kill him. Take him down. And there's still Siege Giants about to be claimed. But I have to say that Team Rip is dealing with the Vikings quite nicely so far. They are ahead in experience by a significant margin. They have also taken the structure lead. And with Asmodan, they have good stacks. They're getting good damage out that they can use to control those minion waves and lanes. So the Vikings, they are just having a bit of a problem against all of this. There's another quick hit. That's like, what was that, 24 stacks that he gets out of that. And one of the issues is obviously that with this trade, Asmodan can also counterplay the Vikings. Well, Brightwing goes down. Okay, so the flying butt plug got eliminated. Jojo took it out. And that is kill number 6. So, things are looking pretty good for them. A little bit of a blind shot by Asmodan that doesn't go anywhere, but they are getting more pressure in against Gavlo and force Hogger back. So the Vikings, they're taking control over the shrines. This is probably the biggest advantage that the red team now has, that they can still go for temple control with ease, since they can just split onto the map like this. And with them taking at least over some of the shots, that's a huge win. They eliminated the fort in the middle of the map and now applying pressure to the keeps. Blue team has taken over at the bottom of the map and is now attempting to do the same at the top. But Sven has to be super careful here, obviously. But it is nice pressure against the keep at the bottom of the map. Jojo, she still has a few shots left here. So apparently miscalculated the timing a bit as she moved off. By now we have, again, Asmodan. It's the laser show, baby. With them having a level 16 lead and going for Hell Rift, is lasering them into the ground, taking one after another. Shots fired at the top, damage the top side keep for the blue team. So this is still close. I mean, it really feels like it's the blue team, you know, that is dominating the things in general. They have 6 kills to 0. They're doing well with Asmodan, but let's not kid ourselves here. When we're looking just at structures alone, then the Gremlins aren't too far behind. So they're doing still a fantastic job, and you could argue they're ahead with this. The Vikings are controlling the side lanes quite well. The Haka has to deal with them as best as they can. And it's a bit, it would still worry me if I'm on the blue team side. You can still lose this game. Just because you had a lot of cool moves and have more of the kills doesn't mean that you're going to take this. And just look at the top lane, for example. Sadath is now pushing in here and somebody needs to deal with this or it's going to cost them the keep. And Asmodan to the rescue as he starts moving in. Gets good hits connected, but they need to burn this down quickly. They keep still taking damage and every single bit matters because there is going to be another temple at the top lane soon. And that will then likely destroy the keep if the red team is able to grab the objective again. So there's a lot going on here. I like the macro play that they are both showing. We have 59 stacks now for Cassia, so our girl has been doing work. Asmodan is sitting at 284 stacks as they're continuing, so we're still quite a bit away from completing the baseline. But he's of course working the damage in as we speak, and it's showing with every single orb that he throws out and takes the minion waves out. The minimap in particular shows it right now as we speak, because what we're getting here is lots of control and the red team is more and more pinned down in their own base. So now Asmodan, maybe the chance to also drop another ult. For example, try and use it down at the bottom of the map, but they got some towers destroyed here. Trying to go over the bridge and get more of a lead there too. Temples are activating soon again. And that's 4 siege giants pushing. That has to be dealt with at some point. But they're back in the middle, trying to go for Olaf. That was kind of shut down. And the Vikings are already heading towards the temples, as they should. This is where they are going to have the big impact. Cassia, where's Cassia's damage sitting at? She's doing well. She's sitting at 47,000 damage. With Chromie on 31,000, so trailing way behind. Top side, Dehaka is taking over, and here comes the first kill for the Gremlins. Yep, Jojo is down. Brightwing gets eliminated. That's the good news for the blue team, but they might lose a lot more heroes here. The stun against Dino, so now Cassia is in trouble. Asmodan is down. Rhaegar is down, and they might lose more. Chromie gets killed. They're trying to go now for Dino once again, thanks to the stun of Olaf. The two of them walk away, but there's 2 temples up, and this is the first time that the Gremlins got any kills in this game, and now they could take a mad advantage. They're getting the shots in, which means that on the top the keep will now be destroyed. That's the first keep that falls in the game. And then over towards the middle, they can of course apply even more pressure towards keep number 2 on the side of Team Rip. The lead in experience has already been claimed by them. And this is exactly what Team Rip needed to avoid. This is what I was talking about earlier. The game was definitely not over. The moment that the Gremlins get some kills, they start pulling ahead here. The Vikings kept them in play the entire time. Their lane presence was enough. Sadath ran it well. And then once that they had the numbers advantage on the map too, they started to absolutely rock it. That is keep number 2 gone. Level 20 in their hands. Only 1 keep remaining for the blue team. So here we are. We get the Fury of the Storm for the Vikings. Upgrades and cooldown reduction for Tyrael with the Angel of Justice. And then Asmodan with level 20 comes in and grabs Sin's Grasp. They might throw Hail Mary at the boss at some point. This might actually be what we're going to see here. 8 kills to 3. Both on level 20. Hogger is a little bit lost. Hogger is very much lost. Hogger is in trouble. And, well, he might be dead. Is he going to get out here? And the answer is, I guess so. Blessed Shield. Asmodan with the damage. Even pops the ult. Boah, they're greedy here. They really want this. And then Judgment against Cassia. But it is Hogger and Brightwing that get dropped. Hogger and Brightwing are both down. And now they're moving in for Tyrael. So this was actually important. That might just have saved them. Boss is the only play that makes sense here. Try and defend with either Asmodan or Dehaka and then go for the boss. We're 15 minutes in, you gotta do something here. So Dehaka, he's gonna be defending the core. Has to keep those catapults at bay at least, that's the minimum. And over here the fight breaks out. Asmodan! No! They lose the big boy. Asmodan is gone. Now Chromie gets attacked. Yeah, Cassia is just zipping around and they get the Chrome stuff. Chromie gone, but that means that the catapults are now on the core, and we're talking 3. So Dino's coming back, needs to deal with the catapults, takes them out easily, no damage on the core. They are re-engaging on the boss, of course, and we have one of the Vikings eliminated. 1 down, still a bit of pressure by Sadath right here. Tyrael zipping around, but they need to commit to the boss at this point. Chromie is gone, she's the only one that's missing. Asmodan as well. They need to play this one out, and they know it. Tyrael could re-engage. Boss is nearly done. But they need to hurry. They really need to go for this right now. Dehaka with the lick, but they need to commit. The pings are coming, but they haven't made the play yet. In comes the mail. What the hell? How is this possible? Come on. Unbelievable. Get wrecked. Guys, what on earth? Look at this. Too easy. He came in and just claimed it with the holy ground like, yeah, that's mine. Oh my god. And now it is the bot lane attack against the keep. Holy ground Tyrael just jumps in and is like, yeah, thank you. And claims it. So now we had shots fired through the temple, but the attack is coming. Jojo is dead. They're killing a couple of Vikings. 12 kills to 5. Azmodan is dealing with the boss and has basically eliminated it. So the core is not going to fall to the boss by itself, but the blue team will have to defend against the opponent. Quest completed for Boss. So now they have a chance to utilize the baseline, the baseline reward too. But boy, they only have their core left. And the red team is now pushing. Jojo is gone for another 36 seconds. Rhaegar gets attacked. Shockwave follow-up. The core soon going to take damage, but they haven't won this yet. There's a double altar coming up next. And the Gremlins are a little bit worried that they might still lose this. Still unbelievable to me how easily that boss was taken. That shouldn't have happened. They had everybody there. They pinged the point. Nobody zoned out Tyrael. And that was that. But okay, they haven't given up on this yet. 18 minutes into the game. And now they... Oh, they get Chromie. Oh boy, that hurts. Chromie is gone. If they can take Hogger, he gets away. But that's actually big. Jojo's the one that's defending the bot lane. They might be able to do something here. Once again, the play, this time for Cassia. Holy ground. And Dino is fully wedged off from the rest of the team and goes down. Azmodan, I thought demonic invasion? Yes, no, maybe? No demonic invasion, but burning the keep down. Okay, didn't use the ult. Are they gonna try for the core here? No way. Nah, really? Okay. So apparently they're gonna try for the core. They get some hits in. Where's the demonic invasion where you need it? Tyrael with judgment. Vikings are pushing for the blue team's core, by the way. Demonic invasion has just been used. They're not gonna be able to pull this off, are they? Oh my god! Azmodan is still alive too. 80%, 70%. Azmodan is down 40%. Don't tell me they actually do it. Oh, the red team wins it. The red team takes it. What the fuck just happened? Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Insane ending! So, Sky Temple, we have the 1% 2-0 and just an unbelievable finish. Team Rip going for the big push through the middle and trying to take the core down. And then the Gremlins still able to race them. I honestly, when it started, I was just like, okay, this is all about whether or not the red team can defend. I didn't really think that it would come down to a race at the end. I don't think that there was enough time for the Gremlins to dish out that damage. The Vikings obviously having a massive impact here. I mean, the entire time capturing the temples and getting the shots fired. Huge. But Team Rip got so close. It's always when that one auto attack is missing, that one ability that you want to throw out, and then you look at it at the end of the game and you're just like, why didn't we just? And if they attacked it a little bit sooner, focus it on a bit more heavily, they would have been able to pull it off, but yeah, not so much. Very quick picks, because we already were here once. One of the observers disconnected out, so the early picks at least were a given. Vikings get banned. Even on Dragonshire, Team Rip just said, okay, we're not going to deal with this anymore. Azmodan lost his first game on Sky Temple in this tournament, and the Vikings won for the second time. So Tracer gets banned. We have a start with Rhaegar, Muradin, and Hanzo. Hanzo for Nano, of course, great choice. As Chromie is essentially perma banned at this point in the tournament. Don't think that there's a lot of teams that would allow him to get Chromie. But we're starting off on the blue team side with Malfurion and Hogger. And I want to see what they're pulling off here. They chose the map. They wanted to play here. Hogger for the top lane. We don't have the side laner yet for the Gremlins. They could still go for Blaze, by the way, if they wanted him here. Blaze so far not banned or taken. And turns out that Team Rip is now throwing their own Medivh play out. So this is the second time in the series that we get to see Medivh. And yeah, off we go. It's going to be a wild series. I mean, honestly, last map, a banger. Great performance for Team Rip. For a long time, it looked like they're going to walk away with a 2-0 lead. But then we had that whole interplay in the middle. Vikings gaining more and more control. And the finish was obviously chef's kiss. Absolutely superb. As Maiev and Blaze get locked in for the Gremlins. A last pick Blaze. You don't really see that a whole lot. Normally at that time he's either banned or taken. But they go for the triple front line. Lots of stuns. Lots of CC. Dragonshire. Map number 3. Final pick for Dainu. We need some damage. We need an oomph here. And what are they going to take for him? Medivh, lots of support. Are they going to go for some auto-attacker? They go for Phoenix. Okay, it's an auto-attacker, but I didn't see a Phoenix pick coming. That is wild. Okay, I want to see what they can do with Phoenix here, but that is massively unexpected. Dragonshire, ladies and gentlemen, game number 3 in the best of 7 grand final. Game 3 on Dragonshire, and over on the left side we start things off with Basilisco on Malfurion for Team Rip. We got Dainu on Phoenix, we got Krankle on Garrosh, Sven on Hogger, and Cesabos on Medivh. Over on the right side, we're looking at the red team with Maiev, played by Gavlo. This is actually going to be pretty great. Maiev usually with a huge impact in the games whenever she gets played. We now have Nano on Hanzo, Banana H on Rhaegar, we're getting Simply on Muradin, and Serdath on Blaze. Off to the races. Bit of a battle in the middle, I suppose. Blaze already... Actually, he might go and wrap around, try and flank in from the side, but no, moves towards the top lane immediately. Interesting to see Phoenix taken here, by the way. Did not think that a Phoenix pick was in the cards for today. It's been a long time since we've seen Phoenix played without an incentive given to players, like bounties in other tournaments that we run in the past. So, interesting. A couple of stacks for Medivh, obviously. So, we'll see what they can do with that. Garrosh is sitting all the way up at the top. A little bit of a pock from Hogger as they're going for a quick mercenary camp. Same thing is happening over on the right side of the map, as Banana H is moving in on this one. So they're just going to clash. Nobody should be able to walk away with too big of an advantage. But the focus is instantly at the bot lane and the Siege Giants. So they're starting to take those as well. Cesabos still flying around and giving a bit of vision with only one camp available on the map now. This is obviously going to be the priority for the teams to check out what's happening here. And as I say it, he moves away. I don't think he caught the 2 heroes. And Gavlo's Gremlins are taking an additional camp. I'm not quite sure if they just don't care or if he actually missed it in vision. I think both possible. Not quite sure how much vision he had as this happened, but right now, yeah, the attack is clearly coming. And in the mid lane, we have Krankle attacked. He plays Garrosh once again. His impact with Garrosh, Battlefield of Eternity, the first map of the series, was obviously massive, so they're trying to replicate that. Top lane with Blaze up against Hogger, and still aggression down at the bottom of the map, as they are playing out a 4 versus 3 here. Hogger's all alone at the top, plays against 2. Little 4 talents now kicking in, which for Phoenix means we get target acquired. And the portal players are ready. They're trying to flank in, Rhaegar's on the run, and, well, he's still in trouble. It gets thrown by Garrosh, bit of a body block happening. Banana H is down. Rhaegar gets eliminated back into the dog kennel. They're even trying to portal this one in. Medivh, the one to have a peek with 17 stacks. Had the shield too. Well, that could have been dangerous. But yeah, this is going to get pretty interesting now, because there's a lot of pressure already on the Gremlins. And we might even see... Nah, the interrupt from Gavlo. Alright, alright. I was about to say we might see an early Dragon Knight, but they were able to interrupt that quickly. Down at the bottom of the map though, even more damage now from Dino. Dino doing some work here. We got the Root on the ground. They're isolating Muradin, or trying to. Hanzo's low as well. And Medivh at the portal ready, but they're again going for the same play. They have a double control and they're starting to move towards the middle to pressure Blaze. Now they have to still maintain control over the bot lane, of course, but Blaze is now moving out. Bit of an interrupt. Red team is approaching the bottom and is going to get it here. But Muradin gets thrown into the tower range. Had some problems of his own. Now it's getting straight for Garrosh again. They are applying a massive amount of pressure here. I mean, for the Gremlins, if they blink, they lose the Dragon Knight. So they gotta be super vigilant. Combat advantage now for Phoenix. So that's the next step here. 21 stacks for Medivh, by the way. Muradin is the one safeguarding the middle at this point in time, as Dino is slowly making an approach here. I mean, they want that Dragon Knight, obviously. Down at the bottom of the map, another flip on Rhaegar. The Root is ready. Portals are there. Body blocks, baby! And Banana is dead again. Second time that Rhaegar gets eliminated. Now they have the numbers advantage. Maybe a shot to go for the Dragon Knight, but instead they're just simply falling towards the Siege Giants and take those out first. Especially in the context of the top temple, or sorry, the top shrine lost to them. This is probably the better choice, and they should be able to get this with ease. Portals are also available instantly, so they can use them to rotate around too. Another double grab on the temple, and this time they're gonna get it. Yep, Sesabos is gonna grab it. So Dragon Knight number 1, 4.5 minutes into the game. Red team is trying to get a kill. Muradin just gets bunted away. Muradin's like, I got him, boys. I got him. The stun is here. Slow. Let's go. And then the Dragon Knight comes in and just kicks him in the balls. And all of a sudden, Muradin is just gone. So, yeah, that shut down the aggression against Basilisko's Malfurion. But with one level of an advantage, Team Rip is now ripping through that mid lane. They are getting a bit aggressive here. Not really too happy about losing map number 2, I'd assume, especially not in the fashion that they lost it. We have 13,000 damage for Phoenix, same damage as Hanzo basically. Dragon Knight still playing a little bit with the Dragon's Breath here, but already losing a lot of its hit points down to the last 3%. Nearly got Hanzo'd. Wants to get another ability out, I guess, but well, there it is. So Sesabos slowly moves back away. They could still pressure the middle a bit more. They took the wall out, they've destroyed a third of the HP on the bell tower, the fort, and now they go for Muradin, and Muradin gets murdered. So he's gone, and that's level 10 abilities, and we get the Cracker. Oh my god, Planet Cracker for Phoenix without Murky. That is another wild pick. I kind of like what we're getting. I have to say it again, I did not think this would happen today. A Phoenix pick with Planet Cracker over Salvo? Okay. So Dino is still totally on board with experimenting a bit in this patch, and it is, at least so far, working for them. Their Azmodan win rate is pretty solid. Sky Temple was the first time that Azmodan lost for them. It was just outnumbered by the Vikings, I guess. But now we got Planet Cracker and we have Phoenix. So, yeah. 28 stacks for Medivh. Obviously, the opponent already has level 10 abilities, so you got to be a bit careful that you're not getting targeted by a CC chain, hinging around maybe that arrow from Hanzo and potential follow-ups. You also have to, of course, be wary of that disc that Maiev can throw your way. But still on a decent path. Siege Giants, they're going to get these. Alright. And off we go. At this point, we'll see. There's the flip on Muradin. Root on the ground. Disc is missing. The Root didn't really connect with anything either, as Malfurion was trying to lay down the lawn. But we have still at 1 level advantage. I mean, they're maintaining it the entire time. And the shrines are now activating again, so this will force a macro play from the teams once more. There's the first Stormbolt. And Arsch auf Grundeis. Medivh definitely having a bit of an adrenaline boost at this moment. Hanzo was debating whether or not to sacrifice the arrow cooldown in that situation. If they would have known 100% that this is going to be a kill, they would have gone for it. But, yeah. Instead, now we have control over the bottom shrine again. Simply, arrow is out. They go for Malfurion. Insta-shield. Medivh has their back. gets the shield out, and is ready for it. So all the way up at the top, we got the play from Hogger for the Shrine. Red team obviously has to retake down at the bottom of the map in order to deny a Dragonite, but there is still some double control. So Phoenix is the one that could technically now try and make a play for it. Depends a bit on how Blaze moves. Somebody needs to guard the middle, and it's going to be Hanzo. Hanzo is guarding the middle. Rest of the blue team is getting pretty busy there, though. And Medivh is, by the way, nearly done with his quest. So he's sitting at 37 stacks now. There's the root, and no follow-up. I was waiting the entire time for maybe Dino finally letting one rip and go for the Planet Cracker. But nothing to crack here, apparently. 38 stacks for Medivh, getting closer and closer on this. They're trying to go for Maiev. She jumps out, but that leaves the rest of the team pushing for the fort with an inspired minion wave. Extra damage, easy damage. Obviously, the red team is rotating over, but still. This was half of a fort gone. And that's exactly what they need. These little plays that allow them to take small advantages. So, no Dragonite just yet, with Maiev retaking at the bottom of the map. But, once again, we have, in the middle, the push, this time from the red team, though. There's a bit more diligent here, but it's 3 kills to 0 still. And that one level advantage that we had the entire time now for the blue team is just not gone. They are maintaining that consistently. Now they're threatening the Dragonite again. And while the blue team is trying to push for the bot lane, the red team always has to keep a couple of heroes in the middle to ensure that nobody sneaks in a Dragonite all of a sudden and gets them a second objective. So there's just pressure all over the place. One minion wave after another taken out. More lane pressure. Mirrored in. Quest completed for Medivh. So that's already a lot of relief there for Sesafos. Another flip. Hanzo this time with the arrow. And Medivh is low and goes down. Quest complete. Time to feed. And they lose both. They lose Garrosh and they lose Medivh. Medivh as a bit of a linchpin here, of course, for them. Once that he's gone, you know you're in trouble. That's basically one of your lifelines gone outside of Malfurion. You need that shield, you need those portals. So this is the best moment so far for the Gremlins. The only problem for them is really that Medivh didn't die when he was still stacking. So he has that quest completed and will benefit from it. Top lane still maintained, so it doesn't look likely. Well, actually, now they might be able to get that Dragonite after all. Depends a bit on what's happening down at the bottom of the map, for example. Dainu is not YOLOing in, and that's a DK. They let it happen, unless Planet Cracker could have interrupted. If he was willing to sacrifice the cooldown, they could have stopped that, I suppose. But we are 10 minutes in, and they just said, you know what, we can deal with this. Dragonite wanted to go for a kick, and Maiev was a bit faster with the disc. But yeah, they're starting to burn this. And there was even a problem for Maiev for just a second, as she was challenged by Garrosh. So, for just a moment, Phoenix was not the only one that is challenged in this game. Quick attack against the bottom tower, try and take that out. Maiev, and that's a kill. Maiev is gone. Leyline at this point from Medivh once more. So, yeah, we'll see what they can pull off against the next target. This time Dino's getting kicked around. Dragonite is on the move towards the middle and hasn't really done too much. Honestly, if you get a Dragonite, you want to get some fort damage in, right? That's what you're basically looking for, and they couldn't get a lot. They took a couple of towers out, but that was basically it. Root on the ground, and look at that. Mirrodin controlled mid-flight as he's trying to jump. Hogger gets killed at the top, though, by Hanzo and by Blaze. And, well, that's kill number 3 now for the Gremlins. Both of them now on even experience, too. So, they are on even XP at this point, and we have 16 for both teams. That gives us also, for Phoenix now, the photonic weaponry. Damage output, just give you a bit of an idea, we have 30,000 for Phoenix, 33, 34,000 for Hanzo. So, both of them looking pretty solid here. Then you have Medivh with 20,000, benefiting, of course, from that cooldown reduction on his baseline right now. So this is helping a lot. Attack down at the bottom of the map now as well, as they're going for the next mercenary camp. And yes, Medivh is there and figures that out quickly, but the problem is they have nobody else around that can help out. Even a portal rotation wouldn't have helped them here. Also a bit of a trap in the middle. Okay, and Malfurion is taking the safe path down to the bottom of the map. They have to deal with the double mercenary camp that has been put into play by the Gremlins. So, there we go. We got 4-3 on the kill count, level 17, with the leading experience now for the Gremlins. Which team is taking the lead here? We had some great games already. Game number 3 is shaping up to be another close one. So here comes the flip against Muradin. They're trying to control him again. Yeah, lots of damage with an arrow caught by Garrosh. Leyline is out. And I want to see a few more cracker plays, and we get them right there. And they do basically nothing. I mean, the idea behind it is basically to just tee it up with a ley line and then follow that ley line up with Root's stuns. So if they can do that, they will get value. But for now, they are still able to get the kill on Hanzo, which was important. They save Sven on Hogger. He gets away. And that's a 5 versus 4 on the map. And maybe another opportunity for Team Rip to get another Dragon Knight. Or at a minimum, some of these forts that they are now attacking. So they have a shot to go for those forts and drop them. Definitely what they're going to try and do, especially with that Siege Giant camp, enhancing that push at the bot lane even further. And this one, okay, this one is a no-brainer. There's not even a defense happening. I guess we're going to get counter pressure at the top of the map from the Gremlins, but they have to go through the wall first, and Hogger is trying to rotate in, and there's the trap. That's the trap right there. Hogger, though, is able to get away anyways. Had a portal to assist him too, if need be. Leyline goes absolutely nowhere. Medivh might not be cheating right now, but he certainly needs glasses. So, bot lane, that's where Hanzo is starting to defend because those Siege Giants are still active and have already taken a tower down on the keep wall. This one is claimed. Muradin wants it. Hogger takes the top. I think Muradin has it in time. But they are now forced into a fight that they don't want at all, and it costs Maiev her life. So, Maiev is dropped, and that's again the red team with only 4 on the map. Once that a hero retakes the shrine at the bottom, which is going to be Dino and Phoenix, we're having Dragon Knight number 2 for Team... 2? 3? I think number 2. For Team Rip. And, well, that could get them to level 20 as well. Yeah, the Planet Cracker, again, little value, but at least allows him to contribute a bit from the bot lane. So they try to get a kill on Muradin. They have still not taken that Dragon Knight, by the way. Top side was a bit too fast. Muradin interrupted, and then Blaze was able to retake the temple. So a lot of time being bought for Maiev to come back into the game. But they need to make sure they're not losing anybody in the process. And Bunker is up. Phoenix is now saying hello too. They're retaking the top shrine once more. And now it's all about the defense in the middle. If the red team can stall this out just a bit longer, they have Maiev back. The problem is that now we also have level 20. Medivh is now officially cheating. And, well, Phoenix has upgraded into the Armageddon beam. Armageddon! Bigger width. That's always a positive. Just ask your girlfriend or your mom. They can confirm. 6 kills to 3. And we'll see how much of an impact Phoenix is now going to have with this. But, well, all the way up at the top. Phoenix is already pushing. Dragon Knight is focusing on the middle instead. So he's going to try and take the fort out here. Damage output currently 47,000 for Hanzo, and Phoenix is playing second fiddle with 40k. But that's already a fort destroyed, and they're obviously hoping for a bit more. The Dragon Knight not moving down to the bottom of the map to work on the keep, but instead they are still trying to get that next fort destroyed. Every time you eliminate a fort, it means that your opponent has a tougher time going for those shrines in the first place. So that's already big. And, well, that Dragon Knight is gone. Had a bit of an impact, I guess. Nothing insane, but they took that fort out, so that's a win. Next camps are taken. They steal the Siege Giants away. That's the first thing that happens. Or, well, they try, but they might be a bit too late on this. Garrosh, though. Garrosh with Garrosh plays. The disc? The Armageddon beam. It's basically the get the hell away from Garrosh play that we're seeing from Dino now. That was actually pretty cool. Get the hell away of my tank. That was kind of nice. It's not over yet, though. There's the arrow, and Medivh is just doing Medivh things. There's a portal, there's a shield. Anything else that you need here? Can I help you? Anything else, sir? And no, he's fine. But that was a pretty cool choke point play. The red team was definitely sitting there and was like, well, maybe we don't take him down just yet. How about we just wait this out first? And that was a cool one. So, value, right there. Phoenix also with an absolutely absurd amount of siege damage. I mean, just saying, we've been focusing on hero damage so far and comparing that to Hanzo, who of course has also more ranged poke. But if you put that into context and then look at the siege damage from Phoenix, it's just nuts. So he's sitting at 162,000, easy top damage in the game. Yeah, nice little damage from Maiev, that's probably it. They are not getting a lot here, no. It was a nice ley line, but not enough to tee it up for Phoenix. So that was a bit of a problem. In comes Serdath. Yeah. And once again, brrrr, and brrrr, everybody gone. So that was pretty sweet. They get a triple kill out of this. So good stuff. And they just burn it. Phoenix goes brrrr, everything dies. So yeah, right there. And then mad damage. I mean, this was beautiful. Perfect opportunity.
Holy shit.
Huge opportunity. They took it. And that obviously also put his damage output on a completely different level. That's 19 minutes in. And we have another Dragonite taken in the middle by Hogger. And now they can just go for that bot lane keep. There's no saving this keep, by the way. That keep is gone. No chance of safeguarding this with only 2 heroes. If anything, you need to be careful that you don't lose more. Because the ley line is back. And there is an argument to be made for the core falling here too. So they can at least get damage in. They should. And they are marching towards it. So now we have Rhaegar and the rest coming back in 5 to 8 seconds. But that core is taking damage 100%. The only question is, can they dish out enough to win the game and take the series? Well, sorry, take the lead in the series. And it seems like they are. I mean, the Dragonite alone is just chunking this too hard. Look at that beam. Oh my god. Dainu just wrecking it. And that's the lead for Team Rip. A 2-1 lead over the Gremlins after a victory on Dragonshire. Game number 4, we got the lead. Team Rip with a victory with Phoenix has been able to pull it off. So now we're heading into our 4th map, Aldrich Pass, with an advantage for the blue team. And yeah, this could get good. I honestly love that we had Phoenix. That was not on my bingo card for the day. And Planet Cracker had some actual impact there towards the end. Some pretty big Armageddon beams that delivered for sure. So, flashy entrance for Phoenix and a victory to boot. What more can you ask for? Ban patterns, I mean, shocking. I know we have, again, the ban on Chromie against Nano. We get the Sylvanas ban. They're hesitating on the ETC ban, though. And they ban Probius instead. That's just mean, honestly. It's kind of funny, though, because you might notice that they did decide to not ban Probius in the 3rd spot. So, they actually looked at this and they said, Aldrich Pass is one of the best strategies, or one of the best maps for that Probius strategy that Team Rip tries to play. They might pick Probius so early in the rotation that we can't ban him on the 3rd and have to instead ban him in the 1-2. So, kind of cool. Is that something that Team Rip is going to take advantage of? They could take ETC here. Are they going to do that though? Or do they have a different plan for Aldrich Pass? Now, the first pick for Gavlo's Gremlins, we get them with Hogger again. Obviously fantastic for the map here too. Generally speaking, Hogger, an amazing side laner. Blaze is already banned, and yes, Crankle indeed jumps straight in and says, okay, if you don't ban my ETC, then I'm going to show you why banning him was a great idea in the previous games. So, we get Anduin, we have ETC. Can he make that work? We're going to find out. But for the Gremlins, they still have to really try and get things going here. If they lose on Aldrich Pass, it essentially means that Team Rip is taking a 3-1 lead in the best of 7, and it's always really difficult to recover when your opponent has such a big advantage. We have seen it done multiple times in this tournament, so it's not impossible, but it's always tricky. Jojo and Rhaegar, the choices for the Gremlins, and that means that we have with Johanna, again, absolute monster at the front. Rhaegar can help with his lightning shield, that burst heal that he brings out. He is, I believe Rhaegar is still the most picked healer and the most impactful in the tournament here. So, Zeratul gets banned. Yeah, well, not a bad choice either. we have seen plenty of Zeratul picks. I was always highlighting in the past the Raccoons with Ubi, obviously, since I think he was the most notorious Zeratul player with the biggest impact on Alterac Pass in particular, but that doesn't mean that he's the only one where we've seen some 6 Zeratul plays from. So in this case, the blue team makes sure that we're not going to get any Zeratul here, and with Falstad being banned out, this is essentially targeting the global plays that we could get. Now, Dehaka is still up, and we don't have a side laner for Team Rip yet. There's also a chance that they're going into a stage dive ETC, as we've seen before. So they still have some options to use globals if they want to play more towards the macro game. Now, this is also a map where you could still see another hero that deals well with minion waves. We've seen the Azmodan performance earlier. That is something that has also been played by Dino in the past on this map long ago before the patch. But with now Medivh taken... okay, then you're clearly stating that they're going into a different direction with this. So Medivh for the 2nd time in a row, 3rd times in the series now. We have a ley line into a mosh pit, ley line into a leap from Sonya. We could get still a triple frontline, I guess, but it's a bit more likely that we're still going to get one range damage dealer considering what they're doing here. And talking about range damage, Sergeant Hammer, baby! It's hammer time on Alterac Pass. We get Thrall as well. Protect the Hammer is the game that they're going to play here. 3 frontliners and Sergeant Hammer. With a portal, yeah, that gives a nice tool to the blue team where they can just portal onto Sergeant Hammer. Makes it easier to collapse onto the range damage dealer and try and take a Hammer out. But what's the final pick for Dino? Alterac Pass is our 4th map in the best of 7 series, and we get a mage, we get Gul'dan. Let's get ready. Team Rip against the Gremlins. Team Rip on the left side in blue as we are entering Alterac Pass. Medivh once again, 3rd time now in this best of 7 series that we're seeing him. Sesabos is playing him once again. We got Sven on Sonya. Krankle is playing ETC. First time that he was able to pick the hero. Previously banned over and over again. With Dino Gul'dan and Vasilisco on Anduin. Over on the right side of the map, it is the Gremlins, and they are starting to hammer it up with Nano on the Sergeant, Sadath on Thrall, we got Banana H on Rhaegar, Gavlo on Hogger, and Simply on Johanna. So, let's see which team is able to pull ahead here. For now, we have actually not a Fellflame build for Gul'dan, which was so far the priority build that we've seen in most of the games. Bit of a different map, and in this case they actually decided to go for Echoed Corruption against Sergeant Hammer. This is obviously also something that he can play out quite nicely, so this is going to help them as all of this continues. Adjustments have been made also on other sides, where now, for example, we see Tough as Nails for Sonya on level 1. So definitely reacting to the picks that we've now seen by the Gremlins. It's kind of funny, actually, because it's been a while since I've seen Gul'dan with an Echoed Corruption build, considering that this, for the longest time, was the build, is kind of interesting. Also, Echo of Elements on level 1, another talent that you don't get to see too often. Sadath with the choice, so once the 2nd charge for his hit here with Chain Lightning. And then there's also a little bit of new one. Normally we're seeing Trolling Thunder. Very, very rarely we have a pick into Trash Lightning. But Echo of Elements, that was for quite the period the go-to talent for Thrall, and then, well, things change. But it's kind of cool to see that back. Wonder, though, if this is going to have an impact on other choices that he makes. Normally we're seeing level 4 Frostwolf pack and then Alpha Wolf on 16, but if you're now going into double hit, the 16 talent might be adjusted. In very rare cases, you also have an adjustment on level 7, but that's normally ill-advised. Ancestral Wrath is just way too strong. So, yeah, that's something that is... you can make an argument for follow-through with the 2nd charge. I still think it's a bad choice, but at least in that context, it makes a little more sense. Either way, all of that obviously still a bit of theory crafting towards the beginning of the game. We have Medivh stacking it up again. He needs to try and make sure that he gets the stacks there. Same for Gul'dan. He's going to mirror the movements of Sergeant Hammer, I suppose, to try and get himself some free stacks whenever Nano decides that it's time for him to siege up without having his level 7 ability. Frostwolf pack is in. So this is the one. We got Siege Tactics too. And just general lane presence camps claimed as soon as they spawn, and in the prisoner camp now coming up too. But lots of value, as you can see here, for Team Rip. They're taking the wall out in the middle. Obviously, when we're talking about the Gremlins, it's all about getting Sergeant Hammer to level 7 so that the extra mobility with siege tactics, with the thingy on 7, now what's it called? Oh my god, hovering siege mode, there we go. Is going to help them to maintain control not only over pushes and sieges onto structures, but also when they're talking objective. That's where Medivh then will make his play. Banana H is experiencing this firsthand already as Rhaegar gets portaled on and taken down by Anduin to add insult to injury. So you just now got eliminated by the guy that throws light around. And yeah, think that you can bomb people with light. So maybe if they called it, well, could maybe go for a blank grenade or something, but yeah, light bomb, I don't know. Anyways, quest completed for Thrall, so he's now in possession of a second charge and can poke that a bit more heavily. Also, get some stacks in for his level 4, trying to complete that against Sonya at the bottom of the map. Medivh with 22 stacks, more than halfway done on his own quest. And here comes level 7 also for the red team. And they actually do it! They go for Elemental Assault. Okay, so this is always a little bit of a weird one for me personally. Previously, the follow-through variation, of course. But this is the only... I mean, honestly, I generally speaking hate the pick. But the only situation, the circumstances in which I'm saying, okay, let's see what you can do with it, is when you go for Echo of Elements on level 1, because it gives you a second charge and even more value. So if you're trying to boost damage, then this is something that you can actually do. I talked about this in the past quite a bit. The problem that I have with it is that if you go for Ancestral Wrath, it is a nice little nuke and it also gives you additional sustain. So it's a really fantastic tool that you have that also caters directly to your own trade. So there's a lot of arguments why this is the level 7 talent and is essentially picked in 99% of cases. If, on the other hand, you really feel that you need to get the damage out and want to, for whatever reason, go for Elemental Assault, then this is the way to do it. So if you have top-notch mechanics, then maybe you can get some decent value out of it, but it's always a bit of a question mark. So even in the perfect circumstances, oftentimes you're not getting the same value. And I'm talking even days of HTC where mechanics were, of course, a lot higher there. So in big team fights, we'll see what exactly he can do. If they can, for example, get some nice blessed shield out, a couple of slows with Jojo, are able to lock somebody into a corner with Hogger, then being able to get massive damage onto a single target and burst it down could help you. So we'll see how much that works out. It kind of plays, obviously, a little bit into the hands of you playing around with your level 4 and your level 16 synergy then, but curious. So we'll keep an eye on Thrall here. Definitely an interesting adjustment. Let's see if it pays out for them. They're taking a risk with this for sure. For now, it's all about level 10s, which we're now getting. Bit of damage against Sergeant Hammer. And we have Team Rip with the insta claim on the camp. So they're getting the first objective. Only a single kill so far in the game. By the way, stage dive over Mosh Pit. So they're indeed globaling it up a bit with ETC. Leyline obviously can be played around this too. Yeah, they went for Hogger. Hogger pulled. And they're exchanging cooldowns. Light Bomb is also in. And now it's all about how well the red team is able to defend. So the first 6 minutes, rather slow. Then the objective gets claimed by Team Rip and they get their 1 kill. And now we just have to figure out how much they can do here. Medivh is nearly done with his baseline quest. He has only 3 more hits that he needs in order to complete that. Khaldor is also doing okay. I mean, he's at 28 stacks right now with the Echoed Corruption. So that's working nicely. Stage dive! Yeah! And then they're in there instantly trying to take that fort out. The defense is obviously quite strong too, with 3 heroes doing the best that they can. Sergeant Hammer is just hitting one shot after another against the cavalry and takes it out before the fort falls. There's more damage done at the bottom of the map as Rhaegar is here in the middle, trying his best to keep them alive, but failing to keep Johanna in play. So Jojo gone, that's kill number 2, with Medivh also completing his quest. Sonya with a bit of extra damage against Thrall down at the bottom of the map. Topside play as they're attempting to take another wall out. Overall, the defense not too shabby, to tell you the truth. There's not a single fort that has fallen, so they've been able to do pretty okay here. But Medivh done with his quest. Gul'dan nearly completed. So there's actually a lot that they were still able to get in regards to value, but structurally they haven't pulled as far ahead as you might imagine. Good push from Sadath down here too, because he's all alone since Sonya has gone for the camp, so he's able to do some easy damage right there. Can obviously also work in his abilities at the same time. That's where he benefits from his level 7 as well, and is getting the damage in with the lane push. Also inspires the minion wave as nobody was around to drop them quickly, and that helped him to take those towers down a notch or two. Still a bit of a spin to win approach in the middle by Sven. Sven with Sonya on 13, now heading into No Escape. Getting that extra movement speed here. So No Escape is ready. Level 13 talents for the entire team dropped in. It's a nice little window that they have, but they can maybe pressure the fort in the middle further. Thrall missed a few of his wolves earlier, so he's back down to 1. And yeah, here comes the pressure play. Not enough to take it down, but any little bit of damage that you can get here is already nice. ETC! And a reminder, ETC was banned over and over again, and only because they prioritized the Probius ban this time was ETC picked in the first place. First time that Crankle can play it, and the Gremlins decided that they think they can deal with it here. But ETC comes in, makes the play, and Thrall is dead. That is kill number 3, right there. Okay, so they get a 3rd kill, and they could now technically get themselves a lead on objective number 2. 38 stacks for Gul'dan, and Gul'dan on the damage numbers is sitting at 30,000, 25,000 for Sergeant Hammer. So I gotta say, things are looking alright for Team Rip. They're already in the lead in the series. This is the grand final, a best of 7, and they have a 2-1 lead. Now they go for the boss at the top. We have pressure in the middle, which I like, so the lack of defenders is being exploited by the Gremlins as they're getting structure damage. And you gotta ask yourself at some point, of course, how much that boss is really worth to you. Because if your opponent is able to push into the middle and take a fort out, which, to be fair, didn't quite happen, then your boss needs to do a lot of damage itself in order to justify that play. But they defended well in the middle, still have to take down some of the camp. The objective is pressured against them, though. But there's also a boss pushing at the top, and nobody's dealing with it right now. So nobody's dealing with that at all. But here we have still the play made by the Gremlins. They're trying to go for Thrall again. Portal is up, Light Bomb, and they are not able to get the kill. Or are they? ETC could still go for a move. The objective, by the way, is still being continued. They're gonna get it. If nobody's moving in to try and claim that, with Hogger interrupting those footmen over and over again, it seems like they might be able to lock that one in. Nobody's channeling here. And what we're seeing instead is the red team buying time. The channel finally happening. If they get one more interrupt and they get it with a Hoarder pulled, they are able to claim it. And they're also taking ETC down. So Gavlo, if he falls, then he died for a good cause, but they might be able to keep him alive, and they do. So now we have at least value in the middle, I guess, thanks to this push, but the objective gets claimed by the Gremlins as they are sacrificing Hogger's ult cooldown to interrupt one last time and get the Raiders. And of course, they got the kill against ETC as well. So definitely a nice move by the Gremlins to try and bring this back to a tie. This is going to help them to get some structures, and they should be eliminating, I mean, they should at least take the top lane. Sonya is now slowly rotating to match up against Johanna there. Also, the level 16 adjustment has now happened for Thrall. Talked about this a bit earlier, and indeed he went into Thunderstorm. So, yeah, not done with the level 4 quest yet. Decided against Alpha Wolf. Topside fort is gone. They're trying to get the kill on Sonya. ETC is there. Rest of the red team is moving in as well. The one that's missing is Gul'dan. Stage dive on the spot. Gets the slow. Light bomb. And got messed up a bit by Nano. That's 2 forts eliminated. Gremlins got 1 objective and locked in 2 forts and might even get that 3rd. Seems like they can. Thrall is rotating in. There's the portal. And they Horrify. And they go for Thrall. They might try here. There's the slide. Quest completed for Thrall. Good for him. And he gets out too. So that's massive. That is really massive. That fort is nearly done for 2. So, I gotta say, Team Gremlin is doing a great job recovering and pulling ahead here. They're still a bit behind in experience, they're behind in kills, but they have taken a big lead in structures. Now the chase from the blue team as they are trying to make them finally pay. They might be able to pull it off here, but Thrall is again just walking out of the danger zone, uses his Sundering to escape, and I mean, there it is. So, gotta give it to the red team. They're really making them work for it. Portals are back. Slide, but Iron Skin from Johanna was there immediately. Realizing, of course, right away that once that ETC comes to the portal, there's going to be a slide. And if she doesn't prevent that from happening, then it's going to be lights out. So, at this moment in time, still 2 forts also gone for the red team. There's one standing at the bottom for both. Actually, this is roughly at the same hit points. So there's still value to be had here. I think they're going to get this one first. So the chance for them to pull ahead again on structures, and they pulled it off. Get the acid hit in from Gul'dan, and that's the bottom fort destroyed now as well. Lead in experience for Team Rip. By a small margin, but they still have it. Sonya now at the top lane. Sonya, by the way, I haven't really talked about this, but she went into Wrath of the Berserker. For most of the tournament, we just had leap after leap after leap. In this case, they changed things up slightly. They used ETC as a bit of a global with stage dive and then went straight into Wrath of the Berserker with Sonya. Leyline missing again. Yeah, Hogga's at the top. Sonya is arriving now. They're trying to make the play here. Sundering is out, and Sonya instantly with a spear and a bit of a slam. But Hogga is making his way over to the fight as ETC came in with a stage dive. Gets the light bomb. They're getting some value out of it, but he gets targeted instantly and then murdered by Rhaegar. Rhaegar apparently wanted to have a bite, and that's some prime beef right there. So ETC is gone, and now the rest of the team is on the run too. They turn it on Thrall for just a moment, but the channel is happening, and this could be another objective for the Gremlins. The red team is now taking slowly control over the game. They're not quite there yet, but they're close. Bottom fort got eliminated too, so that means that both teams are now only relying on their keeps. And Sonya is going for the boss at the top. So they're letting the objective go, and instead they're taking the boss at the top side. Got a couple more seconds left, of course, so they need to hurry this as best as they can. But that's a nice little play to at least create some counter pressure. What about Dino? Yeah, okay, he takes the mercenary camp as well, so he's able to claim that. They double-checked it real quickly. 6 more seconds. They will be able to take the boss in time. Nobody has been starting to rotate yet, so there's plenty of time to still grab that. Unless Hogga is just going for blind Horde pull and jumps on the spot, which I don't think is what we're going to get. They were figuring it out towards the end, but yep, that's a boss at least claimed. And they have also the mercenary camp in the middle. So there's a few tools that they still have to slow down the approach of the raiders on the other side. The objective now 16 minutes in is obviously much stronger than previously. So this is really where Team Rip has to be careful they're not losing too much ground. Somebody will have to deal with that boss, you would assume. I mean, this is already slowing the raider approach down at the top and will break through the wall, I would guess. 20 talents already, which gives us World Breaker, and we got the Ultra Capacitors. But Storm Talents available now for both sides. Medivh is again cheating, and we get Haunt this time. So much easier kills for them. No stage dive upgrade, Ride the Lightning instead. And Medivh gets only Rhaegar here. So they're defending against the raiders in the middle. Sonya is already whacking the one at the bottom. Easy defense right there. But they still have a bit of a mid lane attack going on before the raider at the top appears. The boss obviously already taken out. Crankle has to bolt out, and then there's the Sundering, but it's just a tad too late. World Breaker still isolating Sonya for a second. She comes in with the light bomb. They have the portal out. Bit of a slam from Sven, and Sergeant Hammer is gone. So Svenja making the big plays at this point and just chasing them down one after another. They want to get Simply, and Jojo is not going to make it here. Yeah, not gonna happen. Sven, without mercy, just following through on all of this and dropping her. So, with that, we now have 61,000 damage for Sergeant Hammer, 74,000 for Gul'dan. Still some damage against the keep at the top lane, but not enough to seriously threaten it. Especially not with Sonya defending now. And Sonya's at 37,000 herself, so she's second highest damage on the blue team. Who now decides that it's time to go for boss number 2 at the bottom of the map. And a really nice back and forth now. Both of the teams making some big plays in an attempt to take this one. I mean, obviously for the Gremlins it's important because they don't want to fall too far behind in the grand final. And for Team Rip, winning here would give them a lot of safety. Makes it so much easier for them to win this tournament, win the grand final, if they have multiple match points in a row. So this would be a big step towards the right direction. Two of their keeps have taken damage, but they have the boss now at the bottom of the map, and they can start to pressure this. So, yeah, already moving towards the bot lane as we speak. Should be able to get that wall, I guess. Stage dive! And they were looking for Hogger. Couldn't quite get that here. Sonya opening the side up, so they have a bit of vision, which they get with ease. And it's tough to push into Sergeant Hammer. I mean, it's always been tough. It's not been made any easier here. Yeah, instantly the pull. Portal and Anduin are both ready as this plays out. So the keep is taking some minimum damage, but the chase is on, and they could still turn it. Ley line, alright, hits hard, but they're not going to fully commit to this. So they're just retreating here, moving out. Next objective is back up on the map. This time the prisoner camps are spawning topside. And even in the middle we still have a little push going on. Only with a small mercenary camp, but hey. Thrall at 55,000 damage. He's been doing okay with his choices. Thrall has been doing pretty alright with that level 7 adjustment and his 16 adjustment. So he changed the build up. Went for the Echo of Elements on level 1 and then followed up on 7 and 16 accordingly. So good damage from him, second highest in the games. Oh, sorry, second highest on the team, third highest in the game. And it's the blue team that wants the objective. They fight for it right here. Light bomb, maybe thrown out a bit too early. So, yeah, communication was slightly off there. That didn't go nowhere. Sundering also out, and they, of course, went into the ley line. And once more, we have the Gremlins with the objective push. They won multiple in a row now. And for the blue team, that means just tapping the fountain, getting ready, and then re-engaging. They can't let them all go. Lots of cooldowns are still available. I mean, on the red team side, we have nearly all of the ults in play. For Team Rip, Haunt is probably the most impactful. If you can get a good split there. Oh, that World Breaker went nowhere. Serath saw them moving in. There was a full fake out. So yeah, that was solid. They go for Jojo. They're trying to make a play for Dino again. And he immediately moves out. The objective has already been negated, so there's no channeling happening there anymore. But they have to also deal with that top lane. Dino's coming in and just heals up there as we have Hogger on the Mecha Spider in the middle. Trying to go for Medivh. That's not that easy. Medivh is just like a huge killjoy. Every time you think you have a great play available, he's going to ruin it. And then we have Anduin, and Simply with a perfect check. Simply is amazing right here. He checks it. And now, obviously, on the other side, the team is stage diving in. They're trying to control the point. But this is going to be the big battle. Right there. The boss taken. Quickly taken. They were... Oh, such a nice move from the red team. But they messed this up a little bit. Love that they were checking once that they realized that Sonya wasn't here. This was a sneaky little move that Team Rip was trying to make. And it's working. But what about the objective? World Breaker. Nice. Thrall, you sneaky little fucker. That was awesome. They also save everybody here, which is kind of crazy in and of itself. But that's a pretty cool move by Thrall to get the objective for them. He just used World Breaker and make sure that he couldn't get close enough to get the channel. Medivh with the ley line again. Bird form and gets out. Boss is pushing at the top, but is going up against the cavalry. So while Team Rip made a cool play, they also lost a lot because that objective is going to hit now. Unless, of course, they get some quick kills here. But that top lane has already been defended by the Raider. So they're losing ground here. It was a neat little idea, but yeah. Ley line. Also the light bomb here. Not too much of an impact. Ley line, by the way, back in 7 seconds. That keep is not going to be back anytime soon, though. Can't rebuild it. Gazlo should have a rebuild function or something, and maybe he would be picked a little bit more often. But they're trying to defend the bot lane now. Here's again the slide from ETC. It's such an awesome game. I mean, the entire time, just back and forth. And they're trying, but it feels that now it's the Gremlins' time to shine again. 7 kills only, but it's really been all over the place. World Breaker again. Sonya is dealing with the top, and even the top lane keep might be in trouble. 87,000 damage now from Sergeant Hammer, with Gul'dan already hitting above 100k. And the keep, yep, this keep is gone. Whoa! Holy defense, Batman. They're clutching it. That's one armor shield removed, and they could lose a second here. But yeah, they are clutching that keep for sure. So, right now, it's the red team that is again ahead. Not by a lot, but ahead they are. And it's all about the next team fight victory, I'd say. We still have the boss up at the bottom of the map, and they're already trying to make a play for it. I mean, the Gremlins obviously are not going to be fooled there. They know what's happening. So they're going to scout this out quickly, and we might see that as a bit of a Hail Mary between the teams. It's all a question of who wins the next fight, and if you can take that boss, then hey, good for you. They're zoning them as best as they can. There's the ley line, and they are not really hitting, are they? A lot of these ley lines just go nowhere in these fights, and I would have saved it for the boss battle to begin with, to tell you the truth. But it seems that the Gremlins are highly uncomfortable pushing into that spot in the first place. So they're sending Hogger towards the top lane to take the keep, but there is a boss now at the bottom of the map that is pushing, and the question is how the blue team is going to try and utilize that. If they're just using that as a bit of a gap so that they can take the objective themselves, that's one thing. If they're pushing with that bad boy in an attempt to go for keep and maybe more, then it's a completely different story. So there's the play now being made. They want the bot lane apparently, but pushing into Sergeant Hammer is always tricky. That's a 24-minute boss. I mean, we're late in the game right now. World Breaker used again. Low cooldown, so he just YOLOs it out whenever he has a chance, and that keep doesn't stand a prayer. I mean, that thing gets murdered. And Sonya's trying the objective channel, and I might have been completely wrong. Maybe that keep survives after all. I thought they were pushing a bit more aggressively. There's the slam, and it doesn't come through. So, I mean, again, it matters a little bit, but it doesn't matter too much. If they get the objective, then they're clearly going to get that keep for free. The objective here is going to decide pretty much everything. Gavlo's Gremlins are throwing everything they have against them to try and safeguard this. Whoever wins the next objective is likely going to win the game. It's not a guarantee, but if you win these raiders or the cavalry, you're probably going to take the game. Because we're now 26 minutes into the game. Those things hit hard. And if the blue team, for example, claims it, top and bot lane would fall. Top lane might actually fall no matter what. Stage dive again, ETC, and out of through the portal. This, Gul'dan, the ley line, and this time he's hitting them. This time he got a chance here, and oh my god, Thrall pulls a Houdini and just disappears. That was a massive kill. That poor guy didn't even know what happened to him. One moment he was there, the next one he was just gone. So yeah, that is brutal. Now they're trying to go for a follow-up, and the Ancestral, the timing. Whoa. This, by the way, is a massive wave at the top, and there's another one already coming in here. So there's a chance that they're getting some keep pressure through this. Just a chance, though. If they hadn't lost their top keep, this would be even more of a problem. But yeah, this is just wild. So at this point, it is Gul'dan that gets mad damage out. There's the Horrify, and Sergeant Hammer got hammered. That is Nano gone, and all of a sudden, this could be game. If the objective is now claimed, and Basilisco is channeling it, that they have a shot here. ETC dove in a bit deep. They don't need to go for the keep. They don't need to. If they get the objective, that's all that's needed. Jojo is moving to the top. They're defending. They're full in defense mode. 27 minutes in. The blue team claims the objective. Team Rip has a big chance here. Big opportunity. This is not needed. I don't know what they're doing here. I would not risk that if I was them. If they lose heroes right now, they lose the power of the objective. Taking that camp is nice, but it's not necessary. So this is going to be interesting here. Bottom of the map, if they can still take that out, that would be fantastic. That's what Sonya is currently doing, but now they just got to make sure that they're maximizing the damage output. Sonya is just slamming this out as best as she can. Spin to win, baby. Accelerating this as best as possible, and then it's all the way towards the middle and trying to help the team out. Can get another minion wave there easily, but these things are hitting hard. 2 keeps at a minimum are going to fall here. At a minimum. Probably more. 300,000 siege damage, by the way, from Gul'dan. So, yeah, they're hitting hard. Sergeant Hammer, on the other hand, also with big hits. And maybe, don't tell me they can defend this easily. I'm actually amazed how quickly they burn that thing down. Damn. That, I did not expect that they had such an easy time against this. Now, the keep is still getting poked. And this is where Gul'dan, with his Echoed Corruption, is, of course, doing wonders again. Bot lane keep, that already fell. That was always going to happen. But that's it. They're going for the boss again. So, yeah, they're going to make a play for the boss again, as it seems. Red team doesn't really know exactly what's going on, but they already have simply moving into the position. Obviously getting attacked here right away. Medivh gave them vision the entire time. Core is under attack, but will regenerate. I really thought that objective would have more of an impact. It's kind of wild to me that it didn't do more. Sonya is starting to go for the hits. Starts to join the team fight, though, as they're deciding that they're going for it. Big moves with the ley line, but they can't go for those easy quick kills again that they pulled off earlier. So everybody's centering around the boss, and we're still in game here. 30 minutes in. I can't believe that they didn't do more damage with the last objective. Crazy. With Sergeant Hammer, they defended that so easily. Thrall is at 84,000 damage, 78,000 by Hogger. And now it's all... Talk about Hogger. Now it's all of a sudden him that does some damage here. But, well, Medivh, he gets the free scouting the entire time. So, not really a problem. Again, the portal. They want to catch them. It's kind of funny to me how we're seeing Gul'dan just being targeted by the Sundering time and time again. And most of those Sunderings don't even connect right now. But it's still kind of cool. It's a super low cooldown, obviously, so Thrall is just taking advantage of it, and he's just like, well, what's am I going to do with it? Throw it out. If I get a lucky hit in, then fantastic. Yeah, they want the kill, talking about lucky hits and kills. They're trying to go for Nano and kill Sergeant Hammer. Just centering every single play around the boss here the entire time, hoping to get it. Ley line once more. But it's only buying time. And there's again, World Breaker. ETC on the run and has to bolt away. So, down here, still a big wave, but obviously 2 armor shields still available on the core. Just as a bit of a contrast, there's only 1 here over on the left side. So if you have such a big wave coming in for the gremlins, that would do work. That would really do work. Alright, so Sessa boss is staying tight here. Core's taking some damage. They're going for the objective again. Red team is getting way ahead on this. Sonya wrapping around all the way towards the right. Wants to go for the Sergeant. It is spear time, baby. Slam, bam, go for it. Nano gets healed and boosts out as they're trying to go for Hogger. The objective nearly claimed, by the way. That's a problem. They're trying to go for Simply. They want the fight, but the objective is going to go to them unless they send a hero in to channel this. And they are clutching it. I mean, at this point, they're trying to interrupt it. Finally, we have the Footman taking care of it. They want... Oh my god, the damage from Gul'dan. And it's still not enough to get them a kill. They have a big play in the middle happening, though. Yep, this camp could go for the keep right now. So they're already starting in, and the red team might lose the objective as they themselves are now under assault. Core was low, but regenerates. Keep in the middle is taking damage. I was honestly just expecting for Gul'dan to move there and try and deal with it. And instead, we're now having a move made for the prisoner camp. Yeah, ETC gets a portal instantly there. Big wave also at the top. That could become a problem. This could really become an issue considering that there's only 1 armor shield left. They might have to send somebody back. 27 seconds to 2. It's getting close over here. It's getting very, very close. Yeah, Core is getting attacked, but should be fine on the left side. They have to fight this battle out. This has been the battle right from the start. For minutes we've been here now.
32 minutes into the game. 130,000 damage for Sergeant Hammer. 150,000 for Gul'dan. 400,000 siege damage for Gul'dan. And here comes again Sonya with a big hits. 68,000 damage from Sven and a lot of that single target. They are going at it again. And Sonya is one of their biggest problems, honestly. She is a menace at this point. Sven is just going at them. Another hit, another slam, light bomb. He's trying everything he can as ETC slides in once more. Now the Iron Shield is gone, and they're trying to utilize Sonya again for the single target damage. The objective isolated for now, but damn. 7 kills, 2-2, and Team Rip is once again at it. Once more, another slam. Sonya gets the portal. Sven is just crazy. They have so much trouble controlling him and getting him dropped. Big push through the middle now as well against the blue team. They're doing great here on the objective, but it's starting to get a bit tricky. Hogger is sitting at the side. He's trying to sneak it. He's trying to be a sneaky little thief and channel in the back. Hasn't happened so far. ETC. There's the ley line. Can they get something here? They're going to try. Horrify. Haunt is up. Sonya on Sergeant Hammer. Horde pulled on Gul'dan. Dino alive. And the kill. Rhaegar comes in. Gets the kill. Sonya with a spin to win. ETC in trouble. They want Thrall. They need Thrall. And they can't take him down. That was their only saving grace. Now they're going to lose more. And they're going to lose the game. This is it. Down go Anduin and Sonya. The core is already eating damage. And the Gremlins are going to tie up the series once again. They pull it off on Aldrich Pass. They're making it work. Medivh is dead. So is the core. This is it right here. Insanely long game. 34-35 minutes. Full 5-man team wipe. As the Gremlins take the victory on Aldrich Pass and tie up the series. And we are heading straight towards Game 5. GG.
Towers of Doom, map number 4. Alright, they tied it up again. This is a cool series. I like it. I really, really like it. It's exactly what we expected after how close their first match in the winner bracket final was. So now we have map number 5 coming up. Towers of Doom, one of the teams is going to take the lead. The victory is still a while off, and we might go all 7 maps if this continues. I mean, they're really going blow for blow here. The Gremlins haven't been able to break through it yet. But who knows, maybe they are able to take Towers of Doom now and all of a sudden pull ahead and take the lead themselves. Chromie gets banned, as we've seen before, so she is again eliminated. Nano is not going to play Chromie this series. At least I would be shocked if at some point Team Rip breaks their ban pattern and just says, okay, we're good with this. What I am curious to see is what's being done about Azmodan and the Vikings now. Both of them could be played here. I would assume that both of them will either be picked or banned. Which might be a bit... and there's the Medivh ban. That doesn't really surprise me. He was played 3 times in 4 games, and they nearly won the 4th map as well. So that the Gremlins are saying, we're not dealing with this anymore, I understand that. That leaves ETC open though. So on the 3rd ban, I really want to see what teams are going for. But I could totally see either... I mean, either side could play the Vikings. And we had Azmodan plays from Team Rip multiple times Towers of Doom. Blaze gets banned. I like that too. We have seen the Blaze ban a few times previously. And they are following up with that in game number 5 as well. But what's happening around the 3rd ban? And is any of the teams going for an early pick here on any of those specific heroes? Now, also, while we're talking about Azmodan and also about the Vikings, keep in mind that Probius was now banned out several times against Team Rip, and there is a chance that Probius gets played if not banned. So, could also be complete BS, and we're just, you know, seeing normal picks all around, nobody taking a risk here. But considering how big the win rate is for A, the Vikings, and B, also Azmodan when played in the hands of Team Rip, I would say there is a good chance that on a map like this, they make an appearance here. But again, time will tell. Maybe they're not willing to risk anything. We got Jojo and we got Anduin, so Team Blondie over on the left side is already starting things up. We got the Nick Carter of the Nexus also in play here. And there's the early Vikings ban. Epic. I told you. They even pick it early because they're like, guys, they're gonna ban it out. If we don't pick it now, they're gonna ban it. We need to take the Vikings quickly, and they do. So, there they are. Vikings already called. And how is Team Rip reacting? What are they gonna pick now? What is their reaction to this? Is it another Azmodan game? Could be. Maiev gets banned. Would be kind of funny though if now all of a sudden Azmodan gets banned. We haven't seen an Azmodan ban yet. We've seen him played a lot. High win rate. Really annoying to deal with. But nobody has decided to just ban Azmodan out and be done with that. Now there's obviously that Probius strategy that Team Rip has as well. So that is another one that is a little bit up in the air right now for us. But the ban for the Gremlins goes to Tracer. Okay. Apparently they just don't like British people. Alright. That's just what it is. Okay. Anyways. I would assume that Cesabos is going to pick last. And that's going to reveal what we're going to get. Probius, Azmodan, or none of the above. Hard-hitting prediction, I know. Ooh, Zeratul. Okay, that changes the equation a little bit. Zeratul is a bit of a Viking hunter, apparently. With Cassia. I mean, Cesabos is usually not the one that is playing a strong side laner for them, but typically with Zeratul you would see another melee at the front, seeing a bruiser here. But I guess we're gonna get a pretty wild combo for them here. So, I'm curious. We get Genji and we get Whitemane, so the Shimada brothers are again united over on the red team. We have a strong foreman, of course, which is the whole idea of you running Vikings. And with that now, the question, what exactly we're going to get from Cesabos. Again, my initial reaction was they're going to go either for Azmodan or Probius here and play out that strategy. Zeratul shakes that up a little bit. I expected them to play a typical side laner for the top lane to deal with them. So they're going for Illidan now, and I love it. Illidan has been played once as well, and that's going to be awesome. Zeratul Illidan. They're going ham on this one. This is amazing. This series is fire. I absolutely love this. Again, all of this in the context of us not having any draft restrictions. So guys, let's go game number 5. Off we go! Team Rip against the Gremlins. A 2-2 score as we're going into game number 5. Vasilisco for the blue team on Anduin. Krankel with Johanna. Sven decided to go for the cooler brother. No more Malfurion over here, which he wouldn't have played in the first place as a side laner, but we get Illidan. The pick for Dino is Cassia, and we get Cesabos on Zeratul. Over on the right side, the Gremlins with Nano and Hanzo. We get Simply on Garrosh. Gavlo playing Genji, and Sadath plays the Vikings again with Banana H on Whitemane. So, let the party begin. Vikings are going to spread out on 2 of the lanes, and then we're going to have the 4-man making his move down at the bottom and maybe towards the middle. Cleave build for Zeratul, also noteworthy, since usually, of course, we're getting a Might of the Nerazim build with focus on Shadowhunter on level 1. Now you can still go for a hybrid with Cleave and go for Might of the Nerazim regardless, but there is actually a chance that we're getting a proper play with a full-on spec into Cleave and then Void Prison. So, we'll see. Level 1 for Illidan, that doesn't surprise either. Immolation, there's going to be a lot of wave clearing going to be for him. And with a 30-second spawn on the camps, this is the insta-play for Illidan, trying to take the camp up at the top. Down at the bottom of the map, the pumpkins are being addressed by both of the teams, as we're seeing the blue team on the left and the red team on the right, trying to go for the proper Halloween decoration here for their own base. The Vikings might sniff this out, but they're not going to be able to take this, and especially with Zeratul also saying hello. Genji thought that he could help out here a bit, and yeah, it's not happening. We even have Dino approaching, so pumpkins are taken. Gavlo is a bit low, but Genji was as usually protected, at least partly. So they're pushing, they're going. Illidan could have a huge impact in the later stage of the game. But keep in mind that the Vikings have so far a pretty fantastic win rate in this tournament. Have been banned out a lot, got rarely played, but when they did, they pulled through. So, can they do that again? The Gremlins already won one game with the Vikings today. It was on Sky Temple. Wildest game ever. If you haven't seen that Sky Temple game, then definitely paddle back in the video. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I mean, honestly, if you haven't given this a thumbs up yet after what's happened on Sky Temple, then I don't even know what to tell you, but definitely make sure that you hit that button and, yeah, check that out. Subscribe to the channel to help promote Heroes a little bit more, get that algorithm more Heroes friendly, and, oh, Illidan gets killed. But yeah, that like button is a must. I mean, this series has been a blast so far. Not only the score that just like ping-pongs from one side to another, but the games and the picks that we're getting is just amazing. This is good stuff here. So, first blood against Illidan. It's kind of abusive, honestly. I mean, they went for the blind guy first, which is just not cool in my book. So they went for the weak link here. And I just think this is just not okay. They should get cancelled for that. That's just not cool. So, yep. Proper skin for him, by the way, as well. Balog attacked. Triple altar phases up. Zeratul at the top with a bit of damage. I mean, again, going for Cleave here. And the Vikings, they don't like that too much. So, Illidan against Genji, maybe. Khaldor is already there. Serdar is also helping out, but it's the channel at the bottom of the map for Crankle that could make the difference. At the top, we expect a left-right channel switch between them. Genji has to be really careful when he goes up against these two. There's a lot of mobility here. Normally, he has the advantage, but they got a lot as well. Down at the bottom, it is White Mane that channels, though, which means that we have 2 altars for the Gremlins and 1 for Team Rip. So, shots being fired over here. And that's 32 to 36 points now on the core. Hanzo with the explosive arrows after he went for target practice. Considering the stacks, he still has to practice a little bit more. We have also more camps now up, and it's camp time again. Now, as we are getting through more and more talents, this is obviously going to start to change the dynamic very heavily, especially with Zeratul and Illidan being on the side of the blue team, so they're going to get a lot of aggression through the game. We're going to have Zeratul jumping not only for Vikings, but also trying to get those kills in against someone like White Mane and Hanzo. Same for Illidan. I would still expect that we're going to get the hunt for him. Could make an argument with Vikings on the map that Metamorphosis is going to give you a lot of value, but generally speaking, the global presence, especially against a macro-heavy draft, as we see from the red team, is usually something that you want. On level 7, we get Unbound. So getting that second sweep, running strike, the charge is going to help you a ton if you get there. And they're pushing very much so at the top lane now. But the defense is there. White Mane got targeted a few times now, though. And we have even some of the Vikings being eliminated. Jojo is sitting down at the bottom of the map. And you already get a bit of an idea of how much momentum can really be exploited by the draft of the blue team later on. But of course, on the other side, then you have Vikings that will control the macro game as best as they can. And this is a strong 4-man regardless. I mean, 2 Shimadas in tandem can obviously work it heavily. Illidan now with 5 stacks already. And the double altar spawn at the bottom of the map that the teams will now fight for. Some damage done at the top lane bell tower. But down here, Vikings ready for interrupt, sitting in the shadows. Garrosh, flip on Cassia. Dino is still in play though. Illidan is making another move against Olaf, but wasn't able to get the kill this time. And Zeratul is just dealing with the top lane. He's not even moving down. He takes down Balog and is now alone on the lane. And with the Inspire mechanic and minions, he's going to be able to do some work there. Channel 1 and, well, Channel 2 gets interrupted, as 4 shots have already been fired in favor of the Gremlins. They're trying again here. And while they're channeling, Zeratul is going to claim the bell tower. So, yep, he should be able to take that. If not now, then a few seconds later. Again, an interrupt attempt. They're getting it. But Eric is relentless. Comes in with interrupt after interrupt. That fight not over, though. They're buying time for Zeratul at the top. And all of a sudden, White Mane goes down. White Mane is gone. That's your support. That's your heal. Your sustain eliminated. Level 10 abilities are in. Beautiful connect with the Valkyrie, but just not enough to kill Nano. I honestly expect that Illidan to just hunt in on it, but he took out Genji and just kicked his corpse on the other side of the bell tower. So they get the shots. That's 4. Zeratul hadn't taken the top yet and nearly died, by the way. I mean, Zeratul was so low. Was nearly eliminated, so he had no opportunity to go in for that final hit that is needed to convert that bell tower over. Goes for Void Prison. We get the Void Prison right there. And with 3 kills to 1, the blue team is slowly starting to take a bit of a lead on the map at least. Still slightly behind on core points though. Illidan also with 10 stacks on his level 7, so soon he's going to get that second charge. Zeratul up against Illidan, against Genji at the top. And Hanzo down at the bottom of the map with a little bit more work to be done. But yeah, Illidan and Zeratul as a tag team combo can unleash damage on a single target. So yeah. Like on the numbers here, they're normally not going to be too high. It's going to be Cassia that's most likely running it. I mean, she has some AoE, and then of course you have Zeratul as well, who's going to cleave his way through things. Top side, a few of the Vikings are getting attacked again, and Olaf at least is gonna go down. Zeratul with a hit. And again, this also adds up. It's going to give them experience over time, a little bit more map control that they also need. We have a single altar spawning down at the bottom of the map. Pumpkins are all about to be taken. And honestly, they should probably go for that bell tower and just claim it before the pumpkins even arrive. Either Illidan or Zeratul both can do that. But wasting a pumpkin onto the structure doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you. But they're not doing that. So one of the pumpkins is going to connect here. One makes it in. The other two are still pushing against the Vikings. Everybody else is centered around the bot lane altar for now. And Illidan could, of course, still hunt in if they want one here. Eric down. And there's the channel. Genji says hello. But has to be very, very careful now. This is the problem. Genji gets instantly attacked. So Illidan is trying to zone them out as best as he can. Fight happens. This focus on Anduin. Light bomb. And Garrosh is gonna go down, I guess. But that was a bit of an awkward one. That was a really awkward one. Garrosh falls finally, but Zeratul has also died. And they lost after that, white main. And yeah. So it was a bit of a weird one. With the VP being thrown out there too, the hunt alone would have completely destroyed him. Just a bit of a note here. So here comes the Valkyrie first against him. And then all the plays are being made. And all of a sudden he just moves into the Void Prison and is able to save himself through that. So the isolation with the Void Prison, initially great, and then the hunt just gets shut down by it, basically. The kill doesn't come through immediately. They still trade 2 for 1 and take the altar. So all fine, but a bit of an awkward fight there and a little bit scrappy at some point, for sure. So the bell tower conversion at the top obviously helped a lot. And they are still controlling that lane with Sven. And this is going to be difficult to easily take back, especially since the rest of the team can then push for other structures. And Illidan can of course maintain control at the top against the Vikings by himself, and then just hunt into the fight, especially if it's here in the middle of the map. So that's going to be a big one on this too. Now, they still try and steal a couple of these pumpkins away, but the blue team was a bit too late to claim that. Illidan still maintaining top lane control, but down at the bottom of the map, of course, the team, I don't want to say struggling, but still has to be careful because we have the Gremlins clearly looking for a fight. Zeratul against Genji again. Raw damage numbers for now, 30,000 for Hanzo. We got Genji on 29,000 too. Not as much damage now on the side of Team Rip, but they are the ones who are walking away with the kills thus far. And Illidan is of course going to be a menace on the structures too. He's going for the camp again and takes that fairly easily. Double altar at the top this time, and Serdath will need some assistance in order to stop those pumpkins. It's not going to be done that easily. The level 7 crest has been completed for Illidan and helps of course a lot more with all of this too. And pumpkins might actually be escorted in. Illidan with a hunt straight into the middle. They're getting the attack there. X-Strike. And they might get Garrosh. The Void Prison in the back, but no follow-ups. The problem is with Illidan hunting down, it allows Serdath to go for the pumpkins. So if Illidan would have stayed, those 3 shots would have been pretty much guaranteed. They were hoping for value in the middle, and they just couldn't get it. They get the ult on their own side though, and now they are in the lead on the objective. So we're talking 25 points to 22. But an interesting dynamic for sure. Olaf gets killed again. Vikings have been farmed throughout the entire game, which doesn't come as a shock considering that they're up against Illidan and Zeratul.
Yeah, by now the Blades of Azimuth are in. Double pull for Anduin. And Genji is just trying to dish out some damage here, but of course the Vikings have become more dangerous thanks to Large and in Charge now. So that's actual impact in fights, if they can connect it against either Zeratul or Illidan in particular. Those two don't like it when they're stunned out at all. Bell Tower has been retaken at the top, so that's the good news for the Gremlins. But, yeah. We'll still have to wait and see who is able to capitalize on the next triple altar phase, because that's got to be the big one. With 5 kills to 2, things are looking okay for Team Rip. And again, don't forget, in this series so far, the pattern that we've had is that every single time that we had a tie, Team Rip afterwards took the lead again. The Gremlins are doing an exceptional job just tying things up time and time again, but they haven't been able to pull ahead even once. So Team Rip is very much hoping that that pattern holds here. But we're not there yet. Triple altar phase is up. Down here. Taunt coming in against Zeratul. And he blinks out before the arrow connects. Tries to come back in. Illidan with a hunt. White Mane is dead. Nice VP isolation on Simply. And Garrosh goes down. They want the pumpkins. Triple altar phase is up too. They're instantly moving towards the Vikings to make sure that they're not sneaking that in. And if they can get all 3, there would be 12 shots fired right there. There's going to be a lot of interrupts, of course, that are happening here. But one of the Vikings about to fall. And on the right, the channel has already happened. So Eric is down. Left side channel hasn't happened yet. Down at the bottom of the map, Tranquil is just doing his thing slowly. He realized that the Vikings will interrupt him if they can. And yep, Zeratul is channeling the top left. Dino's coming in. They want this one. 4 shots fired. They're getting bell tower damage in too. And now they're going to get the next 4 shots. So Vikings are getting eliminated all over the place. 2-1 channel in favor of the blue team, which means 21 to 14 points now. And they are pressuring that bell tower at the bottom of the map even further. And of course have now the added advantage of running their minion wave in again. And they get Hanzo after the Blessed Shield connected here. So, yep. Job well done. Nice. So, that's the kill at the bottom. And, okay. Illidan and Zeratul both fall. But they got the bell tower at the bottom of the map. But of course, 2 assassins are now gone for 50 seconds. So, yeah. A little bit tricky. It's honestly real tough for them now. We got half a level until 20. The advantage in experience is probably their biggest lead. I think with the 2 kills against the assassins, the red team has a chance to try and retake the bell tower at the bottom of the map. But even that might be a stretch considering how close the blue team is to level 20 talents. And Storm talents will give them advantage. The one thing that you have to make very sure of, though, is that you don't lose anybody here. If someone dies right now, just as Illidan and Zeratul are slowly coming back, then you're going to be in real trouble. Maintaining control of the bell tower would be amazing, but if you have to, just give it up. And they're getting nearly a kill. They nearly took Banana H down with 3 heroes down here. Beautiful combo with Valkyrie initiating it. But they just didn't have the damage. If either Zeratul or Illidan would have been there, that is a guaranteed kill. Nowhere to hide is now ready. So this is going to be big for more map control. And Shadow Mending is there too. More sustain. Simply sniffed out here. Single altar on the map. They're going to drop down into the single digits now. They can't retake this. This is 5 shots fired. They're going to be down to 9 points. So yeah, that's where we're at. Which gives them a big lead, but they haven't won this game yet. Obviously, half a level until 20 is available. Could also go for the boss at the top, of course, if you really would just want to have 4 more shots. Illidan is just nasty at this point. Yeah, he's really nasty. Can try and control or retake that bell tower at the bot again. Balog alone will have very little impact on his performance there. Can only try and take the minion waves out. But yeah, Illidan has immolation up and can just jump on the structures. But now we have at least 20 on each side. The bell tower at the bottom has been retaken. Pumpkins is all that he's pushing in right now. Doesn't even go for it. Doesn't even have the minion wave out or anything of the sorts. Double altar, not announced yet. Soon though. And unless something changes, even a double channel from Team Rip wouldn't end the game. It would only drop them on to 1 point. Vikings might have to join here. Light bomb. Big hits, and Zeratul is the one that gets hit the hardest and dies first. Hanzo is able to drop him. There's the Valkyrie and an insta-kill on Whitemane. Beautiful. Garrosh goes down too. That one was important. That was a really, really important hit here. And Dino for, I mean, the second, third, fourth time with really nice Valkyrie plays that allowed them to get those kills. Look at this. Hits the target hard. They blow her to Kingdom Come. Garrosh follows as a second kill. And now they're in a prime position to get the double channel on the altar. And on top of that, they're also pushing more pumpkins through the lanes. If they can take that bell tower down here, then a double altar channel would mean game. But, yeah, do they have the time? They need to interrupt here first. Gavlo sitting at the side. Yeah, interrupt is happening. Cassia still pushing. Illidan is nearly dead though, that's a problem. Anduin, they might have gambled too much. Illidan is attacking, Vikings die in the back, Anduin is dead too, and so does Hanzo. So at least trading kills. Blessed Shield, and they go for Genji, who is able to jump out. The bell tower has been taken at the bottom of the map. They got the bell tower. Here comes Zeratul, rips one of them apart, gets the VP out, and that guarantees them both of them. That's game. That's game right there. 5 shots fired, and Cassia is channeling. The VP slowing them down, made it work. That is the lead. No, it's not. Genji was able to get it. What? No way. 1 point on the core, by the way. A single point on the core. Pumpkin party. And with Anduin still dead, even though Hanzo is dead, they might not be able to end the game here. But look at Illidan. Sven wants to go for it. They still try. They hope. They want it. And they go for Garrosh, and he's so insanely low. Garrosh is low, he dies, but Zeratul is also about to fall. He makes it somehow out of the fight, and then Illidan just cleans house. 5-man team wipe. The entire team gone, and once again, Team Rip takes the lead. They take the lead in the best of 7 series, as we are headed for game number 6. GG.
Turns out the Vikings can actually lose. Tomb of the Spider Queen is our 6th and potentially last map in this series. So the lead goes once again to Team Rip, and they have an opportunity to crown themselves the champions now. Whereas for the Gremlins, it is once again catch-up time. The Vikings weren't able to win it. Illidan, Zeratul, too powerful. So the duo of assassins was just a bit too strong there. Great interrupt at the end by Genji though. I would not have bet a cent on him being there in time. He bought them another chance for a fight. It didn't work out, but I already had this one completely chalked down for Team Rip. I mean, with Zeratul coming in and using the ley line to slow them down in the rotation towards the middle and the bottom, that felt like, okay, this is the end. But nicely done. Team Rip still with the victory. They banned Blaze. Where's my Chromie ban? Did they actually allow Chromie through? Seems like this time they might ban out something else. Medivh got banned again, so this is something that the Gremlins are still maintaining. And no, Chromie still gets eliminated. Okay, okay. So far it's been a winning system for them, so no real need to change this. Tomb of the Spider Queen has of course a bit of a different dynamic. And I would not be surprised to see again a couple of X-Factor picks here. But what do you ban out if you are the Gremlins? Do you get rid of ETC again? Are you worried about Sylvanas here as they did previously? Seems like they're willing to change things up. And it's Tracer. Yeah, they hate their Tracer. They really don't want to give Dino Tracer. But that leaves now, for the first time, ETC and Sylvanas both. Johanna is the first pick. Not really interested in ETC here. Jojo obviously one of the best tanks that you can play on Tomb of Spider Queen. Lots of AoE that she has. She herself on every map is great, but you also have now the shield glare that you can throw out and easily interrupt opponents. So that's another big one. Over on the right side though, what are we going to get now from the Gremlins? Bit of a moment of truth for them. They need to win 2 in a row if they want to be the champions. Gul'dan and Hogger. So very early pick into Gul'dan already for the AoE clear here. Hogger, of course, another great pick for them. I'm still having my eye on on Cesar Boss, and I want to see what he picks. Because this is another map where they could get away with some of their sneaky strategies. The third ban is also... will be a bit curious. But okay, let's see. So, for now, we have Jojo. They're going to probably follow that up with a side lane pick here. Anduin is already in, and they take Sylvanas. Okay, so Sylvanas not banned earlier allows Dino now to play Sylvanas, so that's already something that they can use on the side lanes. They can use it with the Web Weavers. Try and get your damage in with Inspire mechanics. Sylvanas disabling everything. Possession has become, of course, even more powerful than it was before, because, you know, adding essentially more minions to be inspired onto your own team. So if you leave Sylvanas alone on the lane for even a short period of time, she normally gets structure damage in. Yes, the Probius bad. And I was about to say, like, yeah. So it's a little bit sad that we're still not getting that Probius strategy, but on a map like Tomb, it makes sense. There are, of course, other picks that they could go for if they really just want somebody that fills a similar role. And we've been talking about Asmodan. He's been played in this series. And they could play him again if they think that is what allows them to push this a bit farther forward. We have Sergeant Hammer. Okay, so they're not willing to go up against Hammer again. Especially now that Gul'dan is also taken from the opponent's team. You have your Siege and then Gul'dan with, I mean, tons of AoE damage. And on top of that, of course, Horrify. But still. Eager to see what specifically Cesarbos takes. Sven on the side lane. Again, plenty of options. First of all, we get Diablo. They're pushing around here. And Ana. Oh, nano boost for Gul'dan. Alright. So, nano boost for Gul'dan from Banana. Banana's picking Ana because Banana's Ana is pretty bananas. But unless he's running out of mana. If Banana runs out of mana on Ana, then obviously Ana is not quite as strong. And teams have been starting to ban Ana against Banana because, yeah, if he's not out of mana, then Banana's Ana is pretty bananas. But that's just that. Yeah. Always depends on how much mana he has. Gaslow! Okay. Alright, guys. Calm down. I expected an Asmodan pick. Maybe something like Zagara, but Gaslow... yeah. That is wild. So... okay, I mean, again, I'm here for it. But that's quite the pick considering that is their first match point. I don't think that the Gremlins saw that one coming either. Okay, Gaslow's in the house. Fair enough. And we get Tyrael on the side of the Gremlins. So by now we have Diablo, Tyrael, and Hogger. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Match point number 1, game number 6. Match point! The blue team definitely always game for a cool team composition. Now we have Basilisco on Anduin, so far so good. Dino and Sylvanas, that's a strong pick for them for sure. Cesarbos on Hanzo, Crankle on Johanna, and last but not least, and definitely unexpected, Sven with Gaslow. Big Game Hunter on level 1. We got for the red team Simply on Diablo. Banana on Ana with contact healing. Going for the grenade build. Nano on Gul'dan. We get Gavlo on Tyrael. And Sadath is playing Hogger. They need to win 2 in a row now. Gremlins need to win 2 games in a row or they lose and take second place in the tournament. Which is still pretty impressive. But, well... let's see if they can do a little bit more than that and aim for the tournament victory. We get Unfurling Shadows for Sylvanas on level 1. So Dino is going to try and stack it up over here. Let's see how successful that's going to be. And Gaslow. It is Gaslow time. Oh yeah. Let's go, baby. So, Tyrael is down at the bottom of the map for now. We have all the way top. Really? Diablo on a rat? I mean, come on. That is a bit of a weird mount. Diablo is one of those few heroes that has a fantastic running animation in the first place, if you take the proper skins. And now putting him just on one of those rats is kinda crazy. I mean, it's a little bit weird. This is just absolutely not cool. This takes a lot of the alpha factor away that we have with Diablo. So that is just wrong on so many levels. I don't even know what to say here. I mean, come on. He's the Lord of Terror, for crying out loud. Stop putting him on a rat. What is wrong with you? Sylvanas with a defense attempt here in the middle. Gems are being locked in by both of the teams. Hogger poking a bit around as they're sending essentially everybody in here to help out. Down at the bottom of the map, Sven together with Boss at this point. And of course, we still have the aggression towards the top, where we have now Hogger controlling the lane. And it's a bit of a weird one. Again, you have a very weird front line too. We have a triple front line, which in and of itself is not an issue. Seeing Tyrael together with Hogger and Diablo is definitely not something that we get a lot though. But it's so far working. They get the stun combo, and we have Hanzo eliminated. That's first blood in the game. So far, so good, of course. And, well, then at the same time, down at the bottom of the map, still our little Gaslot, our little Tinker, running around with the Hearthstone card here as his mount. Tyrael will likely go for Judgment. I guess it depends a little bit on what kind of combo we're going to get from the blue team. But, so he might make adjustments. But if they want to go aggressive, he's going to go for Judgment. If they feel like there's some wombo attempt with the grabber bomb, which honestly I don't really see right now, but we'll figure that out, then Sanctification might become an option. Either way, we have a small lead in gems now for the red team. We could try and turn those in. They're dominating the rotation between the lanes at this point. So, not really too much or anything. They're definitely taking a bit of a lead here. Gazlo still all alone down at the bottom of the map. Has on level 4 gone into Rocket Socket. We have possession for Sylvanas, of course. That was to be expected. And Sylvanas is stacking. I mean, she's sitting at 42 stacks right now. So is starting to increase the damage a little bit here. And if maintained, this can, towards the late game, really get some numbers into play. But for now, Dino with 48 stacks this early on, that's not bad, it's pretty good. Turn-in attempts are happening. Obviously, those turrets are helping with interrupts too. It's not only the direct attacks. But Serath is still going to be able to complete that, I guess. Yeah, trying to turn in at the top too, though. Both of the teams have enough gems for their first set of web weavers. They all want the objective right now. Nano, again, with interrupt after interrupt. We have level 7 on the board now. For at least one team. That gives us also Purge Evil, by the way. And with 26 gems delivered, Gavlo's Gremlins have been able to shut down any turn-in attempt that we have seen for Team Rip. Now Dino gets attacked and nearly killed. He's gotten a few more stacks together for his level 1, but yeah, got nearly eliminated here. Now Krankle is the one that has to try and interrupt topside, as they are sneaking in, or they attempt to sneak some gems in down at the bottom. Sylvanas is helping Gazlo out a bit too. Level 7 talents provides, amongst other things, Lost Soul now. So, yeah, Sylvanas, again, if Dino can continue this, is going to get damage out in the long run. And Dino is just perfect on that choice. If he can get some side lane pressure going, that will help them too. We have, on top of that, now Hogger trying to go for the Siege Giants again at the bottom of the map. Get some assistance there from Tyrael. Also, of course, the safety in numbers from the two of them. 10 gems delivered, and Hanzo is dead again. So this is the second time that Hanzo now got killed. Boss hasn't really been playing a lot of these ranged assassins throughout all of it. He's usually still on some interesting side laners. There's the turn-in from Nano. So that brings the red team much, much closer to their first turn-in. And Hogger is just pogging it up the entire time. Hit after hit, camp after camp, trying to get there. As Anna completes it, Banana able to make it work. So now we have 2 kills to 0 in favor of the Gremlins. And, more importantly, they got the first turn-in. Oh, Dino gets put to sleep, and Gul'dan gets too far forward and gets killed. That was actually nice. They saved Dino and killed Gul'dan. Timing couldn't be better for them. The problem is the level 10 that's now going to hit any second. That's a real big issue, because that timing is horrific. So, yeah, bottom of the map gets attacked. Hanzo and Sven are trying to defend there. Up at the top, it's going to be mainly Dino that is trying to do his thing. Yeah, Hogger, okay, stun, and that's a kill. That's a kill. That's all of the gems gone right there. Hogger essentially teeing that kill up really, really well.
allowing for another stun opportunity on the side of Diablo. And, well, that is, with level 10, an easy grab for them. So they're able to pull the kill off. That destroys the fort. But, yeah, they executed this perfectly. Just look at this. Just a stun chain comes through. The fort is now gone. And we have a full level lead at this point for the Gremlins. And, yeah, the blue team also lost 14 gems. So, that's strong play right there. Anna, by the way, did not go for Nano Boost. So, first of all, we have Judgment. Anna didn't go for Nano Boost, but instead went for the Eye of Horus. So, can pew it out a little bit more. The level 10 choices, they actually continue interestingly here. So, Cesarboss decides to go into Dragon Strike, more of a zoning thing. And at level 20, you get the mad cooldown reduction. So, this is going to be pretty big. We get also Robo-Goblin for Gazlo. That's less surprising. And yeah, they're still looking at the turn. And oh, Judgment! Horrify! Everything gets used and they burn down the target. Dainu collected the gems, so Johanna's death is still, I mean, it still sucks for them, but was at least able to recover the gems there. The problem is that they are not going to be able to turn in now, and instead we have another red team Webweaver wave descending as the Gremlins turned in the remaining gems that they were holding there. Damage output for Sylvana, she's sitting at 20,000, but if you compare that to Gul'dan with a 27k, not really a whole lot that you can say there. So the Gremlins, they are very, very aggressive now. They want Game 7. They want to go the distance. And, well, more and more of a chance for them to actually make that happen. So the attack through the middle, Sylvanas at the top doing her thing right now and burning down the Webweaver slowly, as at the fort at the bottom is definitely lost. I mean, nobody's been trying to defend this. It's all about what's happening in the middle, and to tell you the truth, it seems like this one might fall as well. It's the only fountain that they still have on the outer perimeter. Even with the Webweaver gone, there's still pressure being applied. Hogger sitting at the sides here. Goes up against Gazlo. Sven. And yeah, gets some hits in. 29 gems for him, so needs to be super cautious here. The fort in the middle has been destroyed. Blessed Shield is out. They want kills, but the Horrify pushes the damage back. Sylvanas hit here. And everybody survives for the Gremlins. 4 kills to 1 now for the Gremlins. And yeah, I gotta say it, it is the red team that is currently running the show here. Eager to force game number 7 out of the series in this grand final. Dainu with 50 gems at this point. He's burning down one wave after another, is sitting at 50 gems, and well, they're doing their thing. But for the red team, they're turning in every gem they find, they're safeguarding them, they're controlling the middle, they have a level 30 tile advantage. Diablo might be a little bit far out though. Mind control, pushes to the top and is able to escape. Simply doesn't give them a chance. Yeah. So, it's a bit of a toughie. They are hoping to get that turn in. They have 109 gems, and the danger is always that at some point you're going to lose heroes like Sylvanas, lose those gems, and never get that turn in the first place. So, now Jojo's sitting there. We have level 13 talents ready for Gazlo that gives us the superior schematics. And they are trying, but the red team is guarding this extremely well. So it's tough. It's really tough. And the amount of gems would definitely concern me a little bit. We had times during the days of HGC, especially in North America, where you had some teams that were holding 180, 200 gems. And it was always a disaster when they were forced into a fight. Because it was just like, damn, if we're losing right now, we've lost everything. Not only the battle itself and give the opponent the upper hand, but we also lost our ticket back into the game. So, yeah. Sylvanas makes a choice on 13, goes into Remorseless now. Still not able to get anywhere with the turn-in. And the longer they wait, the bigger the chance for the Gremlins to get a third turn-in a row, because they have delivered 27 gems as is, and they're holding 24. So yeah, now they're turning in what they have, and they're getting closer and closer to another turn-in. That would be turn-in number 3 in a row. So they are absolutely pinning down Team Rip. Team Rip needs something. They need a win, they need a kill. The strategy that they're running here is thus far just not working out, and they're falling also farther behind in experience. We nearly have level 16 talents for the Gremlins, and once you have level 16, I mean, is the blue team really going to push in? I don't think so. So this is a bit of a lost cause situation here. If the Gremlins don't make a mistake, it's going to be incredibly difficult for the blue team to turn this game around. And with make mistake, I mean like go for the throw pit, take a massive risk for no reason. Not small mistakes that can be exploited here. So we're going to get another turn-in. And Anna is already going for the boss here. So they're going for turn-in and they're going to try and take the boss. They're basically just baiting Team Rip. They're saying like, we dare you. Come top. Try and take the boss away from you. We're willing to fight you anytime you want. With our level 16 talent advantage and what you're running so far, 100%. So this is going to be Web Weavers plus boss. And that's going to hurt. That's just what it is. This is going to hurt. We might only be 12 minutes into the game and both boss and Web Weavers might not have scaled too aggressively yet. But this is still going to cost the blue team potentially a keep. And yeah, maybe even more. There's a decent ult, but Tyrael jumps it. Tyrael jumps the ult, or this would have hurt. And we also have now Mind Control out. They still have a couple of tools here, don't get me wrong, but the wall is destroyed within seconds, and now the keep will fall. I don't see a world in which they can defend this thing. If they lose any heroes now, it's going to be worse. Sven has 51 gems. Dino has 67. You can't lose them. Know that too. Grankle is about to fall. Keep is already eliminated. Now we have a big push in the middle as arriving, and down at the bottom it's the same thing, and all that the red team has to do is push for the core. Even if they don't finish it here, as long as they don't die, they're going to get value. They go for Jojo, and this might just be game. This might just be game. Keeps are going to fall here. Maybe even the core. They're jumping in deep with Judgment. The core lost its shield already as is. The boss does damage. It's down to 80%, and now they can break through this even further. Keep at the bottom of the map is 100% gone. Now Gazlow's eliminated, and it seems like we're going straight up for game number 7 in the series. Hogger is down. The core at 50%. All the keeps gone, and that is it. That's game. So Team Rip, they lose on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we indeed go the distance in the grand final. We're going to game number 7. Nicely done by the Gremlins here. GG, well played.
Well, we are going to the final map. We go to Cursed Hollow. There were only 2 maps left in the map pool for the tournament, Cursed Hollow and Infernal Shrines. And they decided in favor of Cursed Hollow. Map was chosen by Team Rip, who just lost. So first pick and first ban goes over to the Gremlins. But this is exactly the same as we've seen in the winner bracket final. We again go the distance. Back then it was a best of 5. Now it's a best of 7. And it's all coming down to the final map. Now, I suppose the good news for Team Rip is that every single time there was a tie in the series, they pulled ahead. They won the next one. If that pattern still holds, they're gonna win it right here, right now. Gavlo's Gremlins, on the other hand, they wanted to break that pattern for a long time now, and they just crushed their opponents on Tomb of the Spider Queen. If they're now able to also take Cursed Hollow, that would of course be incredible. Now, I think maybe the Gazlow pick was a little bit too far. That didn't work for them. And I think also what didn't really work for them too much is that they had the problem with Cesapos just getting farmed quite a bit on Hanzo. So I'm not quite sure if this was really the choice that he wanted to go for, or if it was just made out of necessity. Either way, all forgotten for now, because we're heading straight into Game 7. And by the way, keep in mind, all of this is happening in the context of Sky Temple. Sky Temple with one of the craziest core races that I've seen in years. Absolute bonkers, and that could have gone either way. So I think Team Rip still has that in the back of the head here. But yep, we're definitely going for the final map. Guys, once again, if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure that you do. This final is bonkers. We're going the distance on this one, and it's absolutely awesome. And also make sure that you hit that sub button, because that gives you picks like Probius, who finally made it through. So apparently Team Rip had enough of it. They saw Probius banned over and over again on the 3rd position. They said, like, you know what? Screw this. We're gonna just pick him in the 1-2. So they're prioritizing Probius with the 1 priority pick. And they get Brightwing as well, Tyrael, Hogger over on the red team side as the Gremlins now have to react to it and they get Rhaegar. So it's crazy. Team Rip is really just rolling the dice here and just saying, we have our Probius strategy. It's so good that teams keep banning him out against us. We need to prioritize him much, much higher or we're not going to get him here. They played Probius, I believe, 2 times. Once they lost, they got totally rolled. And then in the second map, their strategy worked out and they crushed it. So now the big question is it going to work for them? And of course, what is the rest of the composition going to look like? We have Sergeant Hammer banned out. No big tank plays for the Gremlins, which I absolutely think makes sense. And here comes the Cassia ban. So, I mean, here we go. With this, what is Dino going to pick? What is Crankle going to take? ETC is up. If they want ETC, they can play ETC. They could stage dive. Or Mosh Pit, whatever. And then, of course, you have Sven. Hasn't busted out his Samuro yet. So, there's Yrel and ETC. Yrel, ETC, Probius, and Dino for the final pick. Maybe a little bit of a quick note. We have currently no Tracer ban. Set a Tracer comp. Would prefer Malfurion or Anduin, I suppose. But just saying that for the first time in a long time, Dino has the option at least. They're going to need some damage from him, but he's obviously pretty flexible there. Oh, Zeratul Hanzo. Alright, watch out, Probius. This could become problematic. Cursed Hollow, it's the final map, everybody. The grand final of the tournament. Eternal Conflict Season 1 is going to come to a conclusion on Cursed. And now it's the question, who takes it? Will the Gremlins finally break through the pattern and win 2 games in a row to secure themselves a tournament victory? Or is Team Rip, who was waiting in the grand final, they moved yet through the winner bracket, they haven't lost the series yet, are they going to play it off? It's Greymane, the final weapon of choice for the blue team. Team Rip against Gavlo's Gremlins. Let's go. Final map in the grand final of the tournament. It's a crazy, crazy match. On the left, we have Vasilisco on Brightwing, Sven on Yrel, Dino with Greymane for the final map, Cesar Boss on his Probius. He really has to deliver right now. And we have Crankle on ETC. Over on the right side of the map, the Gremlins with Simply on Tyrael. Nano is playing Hanzo. We get Banana H on Rhaegar. Gavlo is playing Hogger. And then last but not least, Sedath is playing Zeratul. What a grand final, honestly. I mean, we had it all. Zeratul, Illidan, Gazlo, Probius, Asmodan, Vikings were played, Phoenix. I mean, total bonkers what we had in regards to picks for this particular match. And it really delivered. So, at this point in time, Probius is starting things off with the Echo Pulse. Sitting right there on level 1. We have for Zeratul, as you would expect, obviously, given the match, Shadow Hunter. He's going to try and take heroes like Probius out. And already a little bit of vision being granted, camps about to be taken. The 30-second spawn on the mercenary camps has accelerated things definitely when it comes to general and mercenary clear. So this is it. This is what it comes down to. Can the Gremlins finally break through the pattern and win 2 in a row? Or is it going to be a Team Rip who, last but not least, lock in the victory here? In total, 1,500 euros on the line for Season 1. Cesar Boss is starting to move straight towards the middle, and we're going to keep an eye on him and his Probius plays, but it's camp versus camp now, as we have topside already some action playing out. Dino, of course, with Greymane can also make some huge impact here. Went into viciousness on level 1, and that's exactly what he needs to be now. Vicious. They try and go for Gavlo. No stun, and that brings the cooldown back, but that's a lot of damage on Gavlo regardless. So that forces him back and makes things a little bit harder for the side laner. So all of a sudden, there will be pressure at the top lane that is likely resulting in some of the structures being destroyed. Rhaegar is attempting to help out and comes in, but that's still half the tower gone, and nearly more than that. And Probius is saying hello to make sure that they're at least taking this one out. So, one tower already eliminated. It's a full 4-man now all of a sudden at the top of the lane. So nice little rotational play made in order to take that lane down a notch. They are taking the gate down any second, which is going to give them additional vision too. So yeah, this is working quite nicely for them. And Probius has rotated back down towards the middle, as at the bottom of the map we still have Urel going up against the Zeratul. And Gavlo a bit low, but it is ETC that falls first. There's first blood. The Gremlins get first blood against the blue team. Okay, not too bad. It's a nice little play, as we have our first tribute spawning. Probius with a photon barrier. And all the way at the top, still a bit of pressure from Hogger. Had, as I said, a bit of assistance from other teams, of course, but by now I'm totally fine here. Sven still, yeah, jumping forward a little bit and hoping to hold the lane against him solo. As down at the bottom, the fight is centering around the tribute, of course. For Urel, we're getting Aegis of Light. And already trying to take those cannons out as quickly as they can. But now we have still the push from Greymane, and this is the problem. When you are centering all of your heroes around the tribute as you're trying to play for the objective, and Greymane is able to make it into Worgen form onto structures, you could lose a couple of, well, not only towers, but maybe even more, if you're not able to counterplay that. So as long as they can interrupt here with Probius ETC, they can allow for plays to be made by Urel at the top, who's now pushing with the minion waves and is not moving away. And could have Greymane do some work too. But the rotation from Dino towards the bottom is still happening, so as he is doing damage in the mid lane, he also wants to ensure that his team is able to grab this. Zeratul says hello to Brightwing, interrupts this. Hogger has now moved towards the top, and it's just a rotational play on the side laners between the mid and the top lane. Just trying to get the most that they can here. Simply, it's a little bit low, but you don't simply kill Tyrael. Urel for a moment, clashing with Zeratul here. And over at the bottom of the map is still the same tribute. So they're just trying to drag that out as long as possible. Top side, yeah, for now, Sven still fine here with the Divine Steed. And straight into the little horsey. As we have ETC, again, under a little bit of trouble. So has to be careful here. Krankle. Rhaegar. I mean, at this point, I feel with everything that Probius has said up here, they already decided that it's not really worth investing the entire team at the bottom of the map. It's just too much time that they need here, and Probius just keeps that up, so they have to fully commit if they want to get something there. Dino is setting up a small trap at the top, but that hasn't really done anything for them yet either. Bosses are up by now, so those could be taken, especially Hanzo's going to play a big role there later, in the build that he chose. Haven't channeled anything here yet, but now a few camps get claimed, and who knows, Brightwing might just be able to channel this now. Rhaegar, yeah, it's not the only one that wants to interrupt. We have Hanzo in a spot too, where he can immediately move in on this. The problem is that Hogger at the top is getting put into a corner and gets killed. So that's pressure against the top side forward. Hogger down, and level 10 is going to say hello in a moment for Team Rip. So it's a kill for a kill, and heroic abilities give the team in blue a lead. That gives us the bullet, and we have also the Ardent Defender. Greymane and Urel are more or less taking out the top side fort. With the help of the Siege Giants, they get the entire thing, and now they even won kills. Brightwing helps out, they get the poly, and Tyrael is gone. Team Rip with the double kill. Yeah, get 2 kills and the fort. Now down at the bottom of the map, they're making a move for Banana Age. We're now 6 minutes into the game, and still the tribute has not been claimed. Both teams on level 10 abilities, with Judgment taken, Might of the Nerazim, and Greymane is immediately on the boss. So they're starting to go straight up for it. Hogger hasn't started anything up there yet, and I don't think that the team has actually realized that yet, the team in red. No. The Gremlins definitely are fully unaware of what's happening here. Tyrael is finally starting the boss at the top for themselves, but they could actually rotate in on this and try and make a play there. Alternatively, you go for the tribute and push the bot lane, and it seems like that's what we're going to get from them. So the top lane boss is also going to get claimed, but there is a significant time lag between the two. Now, that gives us tribute number 1 for Team Rip. And this is 100% going to be a fort here.
100%. And they might do more than that. All depends on what the red team now decides to do. Because if they are pushing in force at the top, then this is going to become a bit of a race. And Team Rip is going to push for the keep. They already have, for example, Brightwing assisting at the bottom. Again, the Inspire mechanic alone would be a win. But top side, they gotta help out here. Sessa Boss gets just ganged up on. Probius is dead. The boss wailing at the fort here. But this battle isn't quite over yet. And Brightwing actually survived this. So Brightwing is still alive, but they lose their fort. And at the bottom of the map, the boss didn't really do a whole lot of damage. Nano was defending quite well here. So, yeah, each team lost a fort. 2 kills to 2. Very, very even still. I think if they could have avoided losing any of their heroes, if they could have maybe at least, I don't know, saved that fort or pushed more at the bottom would be a different story. But even with them getting the boss early, it's still dead even. So, yeah. By now, we have the push for Tribute number 2. Level 13 talents kick in for both teams at exactly the same time. That gives us, by the way, again, Holy Ground, so it could be used later for some steals. Urel gets away. Urel gets away. Zeratul for a moment was trying to follow up on this, but with both Brightwing and ETC around, there's a Poly and a stun that you can easily run into and then get killed, so you don't want to have that happen. Now, we have 13 stacks also for the level 7 talent on Greymane's side. So that's, again, a nice little damage boost for him, so he's maintaining that still. Damage output for Greymane, 21,000, top damage in the game, and a nice push through the middle now with the Mercenary Camp. And they're setting that up very well. If Greymane is again enabled to go into Worgen form, that would be fantastic. And Probius is of course with them as well. 84,000 siege damage now, and gets the damage in through the ults. Nice Ancestral for Gavlo. Has to Hoarder pulled out though, so jumps out of the fight, but at the end of the day, they defended their fort. That's what most of this was about. So fort is defended. Now we have also another tribute channel. Zeratul is there in time. Yeah, he is able to interrupt it. Zeratul can interrupt it. Had to jump out again, but it allowed the blue team, oh sorry, the red team, to get into position again. And now it's an actual battle between the two of them. Oh, Probius! And Probius is dead. Brightwing is low and gets murdered as well. That's 2 down. Make it 3, baby. They go for the triple kill. They want the quad kill and they pull it off. E.T. Sia is dead too. Only Rel survives. The tribute is claimed, and that was a massive play for the Gremlins. Probius the first one to fall. Brightwing after that. They chase down Greymane, and then it's all about ETC, and he can't survive it either. So, really well done. Now the fort in the mid lane completely exposed, and they're going to just break it apart. 16 is nearly there. They nearly have level 16. Hogger is pushing the bot lane, by the way. It's not quite as aggressive of a push as we've just seen in the middle, but this is still going to cost them the wall. And the gap in experience has, of course, been significantly widened after the last few plays. Finally, the Gremlins have a chance to break through the pattern. They fought for this all day. The entire day. Every single match, every map, it was just back and forth. They were ping-ponging it around. And now, all of a sudden, in game number 7, there's an opportunity for the Gremlins. They don't have it yet. If Team Rip doesn't panic here, they can still bring this back. But that last battle cost them. 4 heroes dead. A fort down. Another tribute lost. And now a free curse. Free curse with level 16. Bottom fort. Hopeless. This one's gone. You can kiss that goodbye right here. Inspire mechanic has already been kicked in. Now Gavlo is going for the wave, and they're starting to move towards the mid lane. Bottom fort is doomed one way or another. But they're starting to make the play right here. Probius went into interference. Interference for Probius at this point. They have the level 16 talents finally. Mosh pit from ETC. Crankle, Holy Ground, blocks him, and that's a kill. ETC is dead again. Kill number 7. And boy, are they on the receiving end of a beating at this point. Yeah, it finally broke the spell. Team Rip is in panic mode. They're desperately trying to defend what they can here. Their fort lost, mid lane, wall eliminated, and now the play for the boss as the blue team is still defending. A 1 level gap between the two teams, and we'll see what they can do here. Boss is about to be claimed. Nothing that the blue team can do about it. They could go for the double boss play. They have more camps that they can steal, increase the experience lead that they have here as well, of course. And yeah, plenty of options for them right now. One camp through the middle. They're already retreating here, moving towards the top to go for the double boss play. Urel is starting to defend down at the bottom of the map. But so far, so good for the Gremlins. 31,000 damage for Hanzo. 32,000 for Probius. Probius is the top damage in the game. On eye level with Greymane and with Hanzo. Here comes the second boss at the top. But it's all about the kills, of course. And we'll see if they can actually get some structural damage in. Down here, the wall is still totally fine, so it's not really a problem. Top side, this is where they're going to push now. Zeratul, he's sitting in the middle still. Pushed a few of the lanes out. There's siege giants, by the way, that are moving through the bot lane. So if Urel has to move away before eliminating those, this is eventually going to cause problems too. And they are just scouting everything out up at the top. Hits keep coming. Zeratul still in the middle. They're trying to attack on all fronts now. They come in with the boss. Zeratul is joining them too for this. 1 level until they have 20 talents. Big gap in experience. They want to at least have the wall. They want more. Zeratul sitting in the middle, just poking this out a little bit. Wall already gone, and the Gremlins decide, nah, they're not risking anything. We nearly have level 20. Zero incentive to do anything. Wait for Storm Talents, and then make the move. 11 stacks again on the Wizened Duelist for Dino, for Greymane. Yeah, and for the blue team, it's all about waiting and soaking experience. 1.5 levels behind. That's rough. Yeah, and the experience gains, I mean, you can see most of this is just coming through Mercenary and Hero experience. Those are the two big blocks. Passive experience is where the blue team is even ahead. Not for long, though. But, yeah, more camps taken. Now we have the level 20 talents, so it's Storm Talent time. And the question, of course, how much can they now do with this? As they're definitely going to start sieging up. We got Angel of Justice in, the follow-up with Bullseye. Then we got Shadow Stride here. That's a lot of damage, especially on single targets. If you isolate anyone, you can do a lot. So, Siege Giants with a bit of damage. They're playing this very, very slow, though. I mean, again, a lot on the line here. This is literally for the tournament victory. Right here, right now. 2 kills to 7. The Gremlins, slow playing it. Same true for Team Rip, who are just trying to get the XP. What they need is 20. And honestly, there's not really a whole lot that the Gremlins are currently doing with the level 20 advantage. Snowkeep that gets destroyed. They take a tribute. Ooh, no. 1 tribute is all that they're getting here. And yeah, this is starting to get nasty. Yeah, this is really starting to get tricky. I mean, right now, blue team, given that they suffered not only that big team fight loss and a curse afterwards, they're in fairly decent shape. They're actually in decent shape. I mean, think about this for a second. What is the difference between the two teams right now, structurally speaking? 1/4. 1/4, that's it. Unless the keep now gets destroyed. And both have level 20. That gives us construct additional pylons for Probius. We now have also Hunter's Blunderbuss. So, I gotta say, the Gremlins didn't get a whole lot out of all of this. They took a double boss that did little to nothing. They got level 20 and then didn't do a lot with it. They just didn't feel comfortable pushing for any of these structures. They got damage in on that keep. That keep at the top lane is definitely in some trouble. And if they can play for it later on, there's a chance that they just move in and sneakily take it. But there's nothing else that they are doing. So 1 fort in the middle is basically the difference between the teams. So now that level 20 is finally there for the blue team, Team Rip is still in an okay spot. They need to win a fight, obviously.
But, well, right now they could here. Gavlo. Oh, that Ancestral. Baby, that one was clutching it. Close call, my friend. That was nearly the end of Hogger. They're 17 minutes into the game now. And, yeah, there's a tribute. It gets interrupted again, but the position is just much better for them. And, by the way, a side note, bosses are coming back up too. And they're trying to sneak them in while the tribute is still being played for. Crankle also trying this. A little bit of vision granted. Zeratul sitting in the middle. They try to go for Tyrael, and he's gone. And they even have the boss still up. Didn't leash or anything. Zeratul is playing the mid lane a bit. Team is falling back. Tribute gets interrupted again, but now we have the boss at the bottom of the map. Guys, Team Rip is looking pretty okay all of a sudden. Siege Giants claiming those at the top. Sven is actually going to jump in on this. Sven is saying hello. Brightwing instantly with a portal. Not risking anything in that situation. They have a numbers advantage. They have the boss at the bottom of the map. They have taken the second tribute. All of a sudden, Team Rip is looking good here. The Gremlins, on the other hand, they are having a bit of a tough time. They were in such a great spot after they got the quad kill. And it just didn't amount to anything. Now we're 18 minutes in. The wall at the bot lane gets opened up, and the blue team is already moving in for the fort in the mid lane. Inspire minions with extra damage, well, extra attack speed, and that's the fort gone. So now we are more or less dead even in structures. Huh. Yeah, I think the situation changed quite significantly. There's still a boss up at the top that both of the teams should probably have an eye on. But there's also catapults now moving through the bottom of the map. With 19 minutes on the clock, this is going to potentially damage the keep a bit. So everything centers around the boss. Keep Tyrael and his holy ground in mind. If anybody is making a sneaky move, Tyrael could always steal it away like he did previously on Sky Temple. Tribute at the bottom of the map. That's a cursed tribute if the blue team takes it. If they can send Brightwing down, for example, always Z back in if need. Oh no, not again! Tyrael gets caught for the second time in a row and dies. 5 versus 4 now. Tyrael is gone. Bottom keep is taking some damage, not a lot, but has been losing a few hit points. And now they go for the boss here. The red team decides that they want to have the tribute at a minimum, so this one is obviously a freebie. But that boss at the top lane could now do some severe damage. And yep, this is getting dangerous for the Gremlins. They had such a great start into this. Their mid game was awesome. And now they're losing way too much here. Tyrael got killed 3 times in total out of the 4 deaths that the Gremlins suffered at the hands of their opponents. And the last 2 were disastrous. I mean, he just got blown to pieces within seconds. And talking about being blown to pieces, Hogger just disappears. Team Rip, guys, they do it again. They turn this around, aren't they? 5 kills to 7, and they go for the core. Every time the series was tied, Team Rip took the next game, and they might just be able to pull it off again. Hogger is gone. It's a 5 versus 4. The boss is on the core. Hanzo narrowly missed the target. The NA arrow is going straight up to Florida. And the boss is wailing away at the core. This is it. Team Rip crowns themselves the champions in this best of 7 on Cursed Hollow as they defeat the Gremlins once again. What a performance. GG.